Hello, everybody. Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us for another, the final episode, in fact, of Seekers of Elturel, buried here on twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG and twitch.tv/D&D. I'm George. You see him pronouns. I'll be your DM for the next up to about 3 hours. It's the last episode. Things could go in many different directions, so it might not last that long. Let's find out. But around about 3 hours. Yes, the six of us, including me, have gathered around the virtual tabletop to play some Dungeons and Dragons. If you're just joining us now and you're not aware about Dungeons and Dragons, maybe go back and watch some of the other ones. But if you need a brief primer, Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game. Each of us will be playing, or each of the 5 other people, apart from me, will be playing a character that they have created in a shared fantasy universe. They have a character sheet which tells them broadly sort of statistical, numbery things that they can do and specific rules for their special abilities. I, on the other hand, as the Dungeon Master, play everything else in the world. So all the characters that aren't them, that they meet and interact with, locations, all kinds of things. I broadly describe situations to them, present them with interesting challenges or weird things, and see what they do. They tell me what they want to do, and together we figure out how to work that out. I usually sort of adjudicate/narrate is sort of a good way of looking at it, and occasionally, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen, we roll dice. If the outcome event is not particularly certain, or that the consequences for failure or success will be particularly interesting or impactful, I will often ask them to roll a dice, and that usually means one of these, which is a D20 or a 20-sided dice. Broadly, high numbers are good and low numbers are less good, even bad, and sometimes. Usually, if I say roll a whatever check or roll an attack roll, that kind of thing, the player in question will roll a 20-sided dice and add or subtract a number from their character sheet, and then add them together, and we'll figure out what happens based on that, which is a nice sort of like leaving room for serendipity in the story kind of thing. That is sort of a broad, very bad description of what D&D is. So just follow along is a much better. Just watch and learn. Now is a good time, of course, for the players to introduce themselves and their characters. So if you could, players, I'll go around the group, you could give your name, your pronouns if you wish, your character's name and details and pronouns, and what class and species they are, anything you want to share at this point to contextualize them for the audience, whether they've watched it before or not. Starting with Niall, please.
Oh, hello, it's me, Niall. I use he, him pronouns, and I play Barder Tanner, who is a human ranger, horizon walker, specializing in closing your friendly neighborhood portals that might not be that friendly and need closing. She's kind of an extra planar warrior that was trapped in the Shadowfell for what turned out to be 6 years, but she lied about and said that it was only 3 months due to the fact that she has a husband and child at home, and during the 6 years she decided to gallivant off and go off with another man who turned out to be the big bad, well, not the big bad, but sort of the main rival for our adventure into the hedge maze for the Constant. So, yeah, now under the threat of a family possibly being revenged upon and things like that, Bludder is quite tense, but, just ready to break some necks and take some checks, really.
Fantastic. Natalie.
I'm Natalie. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character, Valka Heartsong, who also uses she, her pronouns. She is a human ancestral guardians barbarian. And she's a lady in her later years. She spent most of her youthful days as a farmer, but she's now had kids who've grown up, and she's off adventuring. She's bringing the big granny energy, which means that she's solving a lot of problems with a lot of heart-to-heart conversations, hand pats, cuddles, biscuits, and then when all else fails, double axes, big axes to the back of the leg.
Oh, thank you very much. Rebecca.
Hello, I am Rebecca. I use she, her pronouns. I play Veracity Tallow, who also uses she, her pronouns. Veracity is she is a gnome. She is a wildfire druid and a little happy ball of chaos. She has grown up a lot. She's not very grown up at all, but slightly more grown up than she was when she started, because she thought she was going off on a fun little jaunt to set fire to things and then win loads of money and fame, and has learned that actually grown-ups do things like tell lies and have affairs with skeletons, and that plants can eat you and all sorts of really fun things, and she's looking forward to a really simple, easy end to this adventure where we just hand over the Constant and everything's fine.
Seems good. Yep. Ed.
Hello, my name's Ed. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character Violica Eordash. who is a male high half-elf bard, and yes, has not been the one doing as much growing up on this one as other characters, which is good. But I think he may, after this adventure, consider himself a fully fledged adventurer. Because he had the previous experience where he went on to another different plane during Adventurers Wanted Framed, which is a whole different lifetime ago. But he's now got through this pretty well and hasn't actually died yet, I don't think, which is better than the previous.
I like the lack of certainty there. That's
You actually died at episode 10 and we didn't tell you.
Well, the Sixth Sense vibe, I get it. But yes, he is definitely leveled up and now has a very cool sword cane, which he is working with well, and feels like everything has gone nicely, which is, again, unusual and probably isn't going to continue, but we'll see.
Yeah. Thank you. G.
Hey, I'm G. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing 355, who uses they, them pronouns. 355 is a warlock, genie warlock, warforged, who was built possibly by an archfey. We're not really sure at this point, but was built expressly for the purpose of going to the hedge maze and retrieving constant. And was always kind of thought that they would be going there alone, and the idea was that they were able to do this mission solo, and has ended up very glad that that wasn't the case, because they totally wouldn't have been able to do it on their own. And in fact, they even met something that I think they're kind of feeling is sort of a sibling in 199, like previous model is sort of. So yeah, they're quite confused as to what exactly has gone on previously, and so yeah, they're a bit on edge and wondering what the hell they should actually do.
Fantastic. Cool. And you probably gathered from that there's a lot to unpack in this episode. So we'll get to that. I'll do a recap in a few minutes of what's happened so you can understand everything that's going on and other things and the background. But first, I'm going to talk about some of our magnificent sponsors and supporters. First off is Hero Forge, purveyors of these quite magnificent custom miniatures. You can see Barda here, probably. I'm just holding up to the camera. Better yet, you should be able to see on the overlay the lovely 3D rendered versions of all the miniatures for these characters that we made. Yes, on HeroForge.com, you can build these incredibly intricate miniatures of your characters, of NPCs, or other things. It doesn't have to be role-playing games. It can be anything you like. The tool supports a wide variety of styles and game systems. So obviously we have a particularly sort of fantasy skew in our style of campaign, but they support sci-fi, clockworky, sort of steampunky type things, or modern world, all kinds of things. You will find something, or interesting hybrids and mashups and stuff that you can do with these things. So lots of options to play with. We did a video at the start of this campaign with each of the players. We sort of sat down and built their character, the models that you can see on the screen in the Hero Forge tool, and kind of went through that process. If you want to see what that looks like and what it's like to realize your character through the Hero Forge tool, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/rolltogetherrpg. Check out the Meet the Characters videos from this campaign or any of the others that we have done. See if you like what you see, and head over to heroforge.com to build your own custom miniature. Next up, there is Ultra Pro. Ultra Pro are a different aspect of the physical tabletop accessories. So for D&D, you've got things like dice. I have my lovely antique dice, my shiny antique, that have fit the theme of the campaign very well, even if they have not behaved for me. But I do not blame Ultra Pro for that. I blame myself entirely. It's just this chaos field around me. Yes, you've got fantastic dice. You've got metal dice, character sheet wallets. You've got card sleeves. If you use things like spell cards or condition cards for your characters, you can keep them nice and protected. Or just I find sleeved cards are better to handle. They're really sort of satisfying to do. Yes, and likewise, there are lots of other board game accessories, so other organizational systems and all kinds, and things like, you've got playmats with cool art on them. Oh yes, we've got a figurine of adorable power. I have Grumpus the Gazer here. They have this one. They have the GIF, the owlbear, and I think there are others that I'm forgetting. We will be doing a giveaway of some kind for an Ultra Pro code in the chat. Check out what the mods are saying for how you can win that by participating in chat. We are also delighted to be sponsored by the wonderful Elderwood Academy, who are premium purveyors of bespoke gaming-themed gear, including hex chest dice boxes, spellbook deck boxes or rolling trays, disguised as bespoke ancient arcane tomes, and scroll and codex dice towers and rolling tray pairings. You can find all of their stuff at elderwoodacademy.com. You should see details in the overlay as well, and in chat about what you can look at there. Awesome, cool dice boxes and various related products I just described. Supporters, we are also very pleased to be supported by D&D Beyond. On the left, which I think is this side, because I don't know how mirroring works, you should see an overlay for a D&D Beyond, which shows a link to a character sheet for each of these characters. So you can look at the stuff that they can do. If they use an ability or a spell and you go, what's that and what does it do? You should be able to click through and have a look at the kind of thing that they have access to and sort of dig beneath the hood a little bit to make sense of that. We are also supported by Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which is a licensed D&D strategy management video game. You should be able to type !code in this week's in the chat for this week's chest code. And yes, do check out the game. We are also supported by Warriors of Waterdeep, which is an official tactical team-based dungeon adventure mobile game for Dungeons and Dragons. If you enjoy Idle Champions, you will enjoy Warriors of Waterdeep and vice versa. We have 2 codes available for Warriors of Waterdeep. One just links you to the game if you don't have it already, the app, so you can type !Warriors of Waterdeep to get the link to download it. And if you already have it, you can type !WOW gems, WoW gems, to get a link to receive free gems for the game. All these codes should be at the bottom of the screen, so just like you can't see my hands over there, go all the way down. Look at the bottom of the screen so you can grab those codes at any point throughout the stream. We are also supported by Level Up Dice. I have here this chunky, I mean, look normal size when I was holding up maybe, but comparing it to other dice, it is surprisingly sized until you look at these table shakers, which are massive. And yeah, so Level Up Dice they do normal size dice as well, so do check out levelupdice.com for that. And if you want these fancy sort of funky novelty dice, go for it. They are a lot of fun to play with. Social media. We are on social media everywhere. We're all together RPG, so you'll find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, other places, here for one, YouTube, and also on Patreon. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/rolltogetherrpg. You can join our growing D20 club. Thank you to all of our supporters who are already a part of that. Get our newsletter of what we're up to, help support this show and all the others that we do, and help us build towards more tiers, such as unlocking a community Discord server and all that other fun stuff. So be really pleased if you would help support us on there and help us do more things, because we like doing things. And the show is also available as a podcast. So you can find this and all of the other episodes. They usually go up a couple of days after we're live on Twitch here. So check them out. And if you want to catch up on our back catalogue, that's a great way of doing it if you prefer doing things through audio form. So just search Roll Together RPG in your favorite podcatching app. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans-positive, and we encourage and champion trans players and characters in our games. The DM and players may portray characters that are of a different gender to our own, and we aim to avoid misgendering, but acknowledge that it does sometimes happen, and we have a company policy in place for correcting people on that misgendering. If we miss an instance of this and you spot it that we've missed, we are open to being corrected, so please let us know in chat, let us know on one of the channels I mentioned previously, and we will look to rectify that in future. And with that, it is time for the 12th and final episode of Seekers of Elturel, Buried. So far on Seekers of Elturel Buried, the party have been on a bit of a journey, the long kind, the interplanar kind. They've made their way across the material plane from city to forest to creepy poison god shrine, and from there to the hedge maze we mentioned at the top of the show, an ancient and lost demi-plane that once formed part of the Feywild, severed to drift through the multiverse at the biddings of the monarchs of Faerie. Its former rulers, Drusilda the Conservator and Rack and Ruin, were censured for their warring over the Constant, an artifact with the power to preserve and recall anything it scans. I mean, that's what the party know about it so far, at least, and which is now in the party's possession quite handily. They were sent to seek the hedge maze by one Zancade Brighteyes, keeper of the Winterglass collection at the Elturel Athenaeum and Academy Arcane. Athenaeum, for those who find that too much of a mouthful, which is everybody, because it is. They were sent there by Cade to retrieve the Constant. With them went Torsten Brittlehusk, a dwarven academic and foremost expert on the hedge maze, or so he thought at the time. But in the hedge maze, they discovered 119, another warforged, seemingly fabricated by 355's creator, and sent to seek the Constant centuries earlier, unknown to everybody involved at this point. So why? Why the deception? They discovered, why the lies and the obfuscation behind this? Like, what rests at the heart of this matter? And having uncovered it, what are the party going to do with the Constant? Last session, the party defeated the Constant's Guardian, thwarted their rival, Darvax Crowbeard, and escaped the hedge maze before it once again drifted beyond the reach of the prime material plane. They even managed to punch through its walls enough to get 119 home. But where is that exactly? Because he wasn't waiting for them when they got back on the other side. And so at last, it's time for revelations, confrontations, and endings. Should we begin?
Yes. Yes.
So last time we left it, Veracity, the party are traveling back. So they came out to the shrine of Talona, which is the way they got into the hedge maze by conducting a ritual there with Torsten. They're on their way back to Elturel, and we're kind of kicking up a fair pace after some of the quite unsettling things that Darvax said when they thwarted him in the hedge maze. But there's been a bit of a pause while they figure out what to do. And I believe as we ended last time, Veracity, you had just sent a sending message to Darvax himself. And I'm happy to remind. Would you like to recap what was said? I can give you a little nudge if you wish.
You'll do it in the voice, so go for it.
Oh, I've got to now do it in the voice, haven't I? I've got to remember what he said. I can't capture the entire text of the message, but he said something to the effect of, the party were calling him out, trying to get him here to essentially lure him out to defeat him again properly, sort of end it convincingly this time rather than
we were all panicking about what he was going to do to our families, specifically.
It was a solid plan, but he pretty much said
you were not fired. That is not true.
Darvax's response to Veracity, again I forget some of the details, but it was the key thrust of the matter was, I have played the hand that I was dealt. Now it's time for you to see the end of the game you've been playing.
What does that even mean?
Veracity. You're the one with this information, and so it's now over to you.
Darvax isn't coming.
What?
So clearly spent lots of time with Barda because they both do the thing of making important decisions through cliches, but I think if I understand, he said basically we've made our choice. He can't be like this. It sounded like that. We just now get to watch everything go disastrously. He can't be bothered to come and join in with that.
But does that imply that he's actually not going after Barda's family?
It sounds like he's just giving up. It sounds like by us destroying the constant, which he thinks we've done, we have screwed things up so massively that we can screw ourselves over. He doesn't need to help, I think.
Well, that means that he's absolutely sure that the constant was destroyed.
Yeah.
We don't know about. And also that he hasn't already done something horrible.
Which is good.
Well, no, if he says, yes, if he's done everything that he's going to do, he might have already done bad things.
Oh, that's not good.
Torsten, how much time do you need?
Well, Torsten was set last time to frantically searching through the constant and to there was a bit of that in the intro, but the constant is in portable form. It is a sort of a chunky sphere of sort of goldish, brassy substance, metal, which, when properly activated, can be unfurled to this sort of 5 foot wide, irregular disc shaped with these gems in the middle that can scan, or as they discovered in the hedge maze last session, recall the likeness, the sort of the self of anyone that is scanned, what they've found. So Torsten was sort of set last time flipping through this as best he could, trying to find any information that can be pertinent. Well, it's not. It's hard to find. It's hard to know what you're looking for. I'm trying to find relevant people, but I'm sort of just searching at random and trying to find someone who can. He's constantly calling forth these and sort of motes of green-white light come out of the constant, coalesce into a person who can converse and move around and seemingly is themselves. He's done this a few times already, and he's just trying to sort of exchange a few words with them, swipe them away, move on, get through, try and find something.
Have you tried the person who created it?
Well, it doesn't just say that. It's not. They're not tagged, but they don't have details against their name saying so and so. I can get a name or a likeness, and I can find the person, but it's a little bit more.
Can you not just get the first recording? Surely the first recording is the person who first created it.
He focuses his eyes on the constant. No, they don't. I wish they were that organized. I find this is an affront. I sort of would have expected something so perfect for archival purposes, to have some more rhythm to it, like some kind of system to organize them. But it just seemed to be, I can recall a name, or I can try and find a vague shape of a thing, but it's not being very productive on that.
Can you find Drusilda or Wreck and Ruin?
Oh, we tried that already. They're not in here.
Oh.
Torsten, perhaps if you gave me the constant, I could take it inside my vessel and allow some of my own systems to analyze the information and try and catalog it better.
Oh, I think I'm doing a fine job. I'm doing. No, I mean, I don't think you'll have any better luck. I've studied this. I've prepared for this.
I understand you have. I understand, Torsten. You are undoubtedly an expert on the constant and the hedge maze, but my systems, I believe, can analyze things in ways that you cannot.
Valka squeezes Torsten's shoulder gently and says, if our working theory is correct, 355 may have been built for this.
Well,
could you not take him into your vessel, or is that an impossibility?
That is not something I'm able to do.
Torsten, you're still the planar expert on this. 355's not saying they know better, just they have a machine. It's, you're still the genius, don't worry.
Any two of you three who is speaking in that bit, you can make a persuasion roll and we'll take the highest.
I'll go for it.
I was going to ask, do I need to make an insight check to realize that something weird is happening to him?
You can make an insight check if you want.
I don't know. Is it better to just assume, or should I make?
Make an insight.
Can I assist, or can I roll as well? I am also interested in if Torsten's just being an academic, or if something's going on.
I can. Yeah, I will help with a persuasion roll.
Any two of you can do. I mean, so the three of us speaking for the persuasion roll. Any two for that, and then any two can do the insight roll as well.
Can I pick insight if that's all right?
Fine. Yeah. Valka, do you want to rate the persuasion? Yeah, just because
I'm not particularly skilled at either, but I will make a persuasion roll as well. Oh, okay. I thought that was...
let's hear the insight rolls first, I think.
26.
26, and I'm guessing Bardo was... Yeah, good. Oh, yeah, no, you just handling
I got a 13.
Oh, yeah, it's not terrible. Remember the persuasion numbers for the moment. We'll come back to that. Both of you looking at this, like, this doesn't seem supernatural. This is very much like this is the culmination, potentially, of his life's work. He doesn't want to hand that over, like, rightly so. And the fact that it's like, oh, you come all this way and now you can't do the thing fast enough. It's like, yeah, that's like, even for such a generally upbeat person, that's like a deep attack on identity. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
You got your identity attacked.
Is that yes? Is that Niall reacting, or is that actually Barda reaction?
No, that's definitely my kind of humor.
Okay, good.
I come all this way and I can't do it properly.
For the persuasion rolls. What were the persuasion rolls? What were they? The two of you.
Oh no, I don't like Juice Face. Mine was 8.
10.
Hang on. I was helping with one of these persuasion rolls.
I was I was letting them help each other because they were the ones talking about that part. Yeah, no, that's why. Just give me a little more time. I've barely tried. Wait, Veracity, what was it that you asked about? Yeah, we tried. Drusilda and Rack aren't in there, but as far as I can tell, there are only mortal creatures in here, and there's nothing that's come up that's sort of a different shape. I'll hold on. Starts consulting the thing more, pulling up more and more creatures.
Barda, while we wait for Torsten, are you sure you don't want me to check in with Titus and Max? Just so you know.
There's something that occurred to me. If we are thinking that Keeper Cade and Nyla might be Drusilda and Rack and Ruin, and they want the constant, but it was kept away from them because they're not supposed to have it. Barda, we had a conversation where I asked you if we thought the Keeper Cade had an ulterior motive for bringing our families to the Athenaeum.
I was wondering that one too.
At the time, I thought it was a kindness because we thought we might not come back. But I was wondering if we don't trust them, whether our families are going to be kept there as leverage.
Arrested, I think you should check in with Titus to make sure he went home.
Okay. I can only do this once more before I sleep, but hopefully I'll have time to sleep on the cart. But Titus, not Cade, nothing. I mean, I think Titus just checking in.
Have you met Titus? I know you definitely met Max before. I think you must have met Titus as well. Maybe not.
If I think it's familiar with, so can Barda describe?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's enough. Yeah.
I'll double check. But
no, I think you're correct. I think it's familiar with.
Barda, do you want? I can, if you don't want to, I can just say hello and ask the questions, or I can deliver a 25-word message from you. What would you rather?
Just tell him that... ask him if he's back home. If he's not, tell him to go home. Tell him not to tell Keeper Cade why if he's still at the Athenaeum, and tell him to take Valka's family with him.
Okay. Sure, counting's hard. Okay. I cast Tending. Hi, Titus. It's Veracity. I'm with Barda. Are you still at the Athenaeum? If yes, go now. Don't tell Cade. Take Valka's family. You okay?
Hello, Veracity. Yeah, we're still here. Nice to have a break. Message received. We'll get people out now. You better explain why soon, though.
I can't reply. I'm out of spell slots. But they're okay. They're still at the Athenaeum, so possibly we are right to be suspicious and everything's a bit terrifying. But they're, Titus sounded worried because of the message, but otherwise safe. He says that he's going to get everyone out now. Okay. And he didn't sound dead.
I mean, it's fair to trust Titus. Titus is as strong as me, so
and he must be really strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, not dead, not, weeping or screaming or, he sounded normal.
Well, as long as you told him not to tell Cade, then
I did.
He'll be out of there by...
That was 3 of my words.
Awesome. Okay, we should probably give it a day. Settle down, and Torsten, I really know that, this is hard, this is what you want to do, but 355 is something else entirely. Let him help. We've got a whole night.
Let them help.
Let them help.
Just let me finish this bit, then if I can't find anything, then someone else, yes, 355 can do it.
Can you not work together?
Fine. Click the thing collapses down,
Torsten.
hands it to 355.
I love Torsten.
Thank you, Torsten. I will return it as soon as I am finished.
I guess I'll go and make the tea then.
If it's okay, Veracity will go with him and ask him really interested questions about his research.
I think that's a persuasion roll, not to convince necessarily, but to be
she's not being deceptive. She's being yes, kind. Believe it or not.
Yes, Ed.
Actually, no, I think Viorica should probably say to 355, do you maybe want to ask him what avenue he was going down and just try and finish that avenue of investigation, if you see what I mean, so he doesn't feel too much like...
Yes, that would give me somewhere to start.
Exactly. No problem.
What was your roll?
16.
Okay, you pretty easily get him distracted. Like you ask some pointed questions, and it's very easy to get talking when it's about like one of about 3 different things. But if say 355 and Vioric, if you glance over while you're having this conversation, you'll see that he's already at least being distracted at some point. But you can still approach and ask.
I make sure that I'm doing lots of. Wow, I could never. That's so clever.
Yes. You see, I mean, it's revolutionary.
Though Veracity seems to be doing a good job, so perhaps I should leave it to it.
Very well. I may just ask him, but you do as you wish. And I'm going to go over to Torsten with as much as sort of trying to seem interested again. But Torsten, I was wondering, given that 355 needs someone to start, what avenue were you going down? What were you investigating?
Oh, I mean, I was using a quite sophisticated sort of search, a mental algorithm, if you will, to select potential targets and assess, assign, and eliminate them.
That's so clever.
It is. It's very, very, very good.
Yes. Very.
Do you think you could? Do you think you could explain it to me that I might be able to explain 355?
It's hard if you haven't really been felt the shape of the data in the constant. It's sort of hard to relate in that form.
Understood. Well, maybe we can go back to your.
Sort of just like he's sort of blushing slightly and just sort of straightening his collar.
I feel like we should go back to your rhythm thing later. That would be good.
Yes. We'll see how 355 gets on.
Well, exactly. May do nothing. Let's see. And wander up again.
Thanks for your work.
Really helpful to do that.
355, you can attune to the constant. It will take you an hour to attune to the item. You can, all of you can short rest at this point if you want, or you can take this as the start of a long rest if you wish.
We're all sort of like a car.
Because you sort of stopped. I think you were near the edge of the woods. You hadn't gone very far before you had this sort of pause and deciding to communicate in that way. So you have a sort of spot where you are dug in enough if you want to be. But you're welcome to either just a short rest, or if you want to, you can use this as a long rest if you plan on staying that long.
I only need a short rest, so I'll take that.
I need a long one, but I assume Veracity is small enough that if needs be, she can have a piggyback or sit on a horse or something?
Or in the cart, I guess, yeah. Yeah, because the cart is a lot emptier because almost all the supplies are left Hedgemade size because they were because they weren't designed to come back.
Great.
Cool, so 325 I presume is attuning to the constant.
Yeah, so I would go into my vessel and have the constant set up in there.
You can't deploy it until you've attuned to it.
Okay, well, yeah,
you will be able to, and you will be able to deploy it when you're in there. But yeah, have a crack at that. Anyone doing anything in that first hour specifically?
I mean, like, kind of maybe trying to make sure the horses are okay, give them a bit of a rest, make sure they've got water, making sure that they are ready to run if we need to GTFO.
They're good. I mean, they've been resting for the time you've been there and have someone tending to them. So if anything, they seem a bit restless and ready to actually like move around a little bit, get some more, get out of the burrows for a start. But they seem pretty good. Work an animal handling check.
Ooh.
Barda, you got any of those dog biscuits left?
Barda looks at the horse that they had. Oh, I can't remember the horse's name.
Philip, yeah.
Yeah, Barda dead eyes Philip and is just like.
There is I can't raise the eyebrow. Why am I pointing at that eyebrow? An eyebrow raise.
Oh.
You've been a very good boy, Philip.
Yeah, Barda pulls out the biscuits and then starts helping Balka with the horses.
Right. You can both make an animal handling check if you wish.
Just make an advantage. It's all good.
All right, yeah.
Okay, fine. And the second one. It's still a 14.
Okay. Yeah, the horses seem in fine fettle, particularly now that they're being adequately supplied with treats, perhaps. But yeah, they're eager to get moving, but they also don't mind a bit of a rest. It's at least taking them out of the way. So yeah, they're definitely in a good condition to move ahead. Cool. Anything else while 355? There is more rest to come after that if you're staying for that long, but no, that's a bit cool. 355. After an hour, you attune to the constant, and there isn't like a rush of information into your brain. You definitely get a sense of. It's like you can feel the depth of this thing, like going from being this weird sort of metal shell. You just have this nagging sensation that it is full of stuff. You know that it's not like physically, but there is this sense it is brimming over with something. Like there is that additional weight it seems to carry in your mind from it. Okay. And you can now, there's a bunch of stuff you get from this, which I can share. But specifically most useful now is you can, I can just read it out to you. While you're tuned, you gain proficiency in history and arcana. You can cast Legend Lore potentially more than once a day, but certainly once per dawn. And you can activate its main function, which is to deploy it in this sort of this immobile disc shape and use it to conjure things that it is scanned.
Cool. We'll do that then.
Cool. So you're inside your vessel. Just remind us briefly what the vessel looks like on the inside.
So the vessel is on the outside is like a large ball bearing, essentially, a large metal silver ball. On the inside, it's got like a flat floor, but it looks like a giant inside of a ball, and I can see out and around. I think here what's going on as well. And yeah, canonically it has like furniture around, some little like low sofas and cushions, because it's a G vessel. So
yeah, perfect. As you activate and switch the constant into its disk form, you can suppress this if you wish, but it will automatically scan its vicinity. Otherwise, you can choose to stop that because you're currently in control of it. But it's up to you.
Yeah. Yes, I will stop that.
Cool. So it does not scan.
The last time I saw it scan things, a big plant attacked us. So just in case.
Cool. But otherwise, from here, you can attempt to activate. You can attempt to recall something that it has scanned. You don't get any special information from it about what's in there, but you can sort of just guess if you want. You can do it arbitrarily, but it's not like it gives you a big list of names. But you get the sense you can try and recall based on some piece of information or other.
Okay. So I want to recall. Oh, I don't know now.
Yeah, it's not easy when you're actually given all of the information in the world.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm thinking of Nilo and Cade, not young, but like
any other time
when they arrived at the Athenaeum.
I mean, you have their names, so you can query that more specifically. No results. It doesn't pull up anything matching either of them.
Out of character, I'm open to suggestions.
I was going to say, can you search creator?
Yeah, okay. I think about whoever created the concept.
No. Just like creator, as in like what that comes up with as a word by itself, rather than who created the thing.
Okay, yeah.
Hashtag creator.
But you've also got Legend Lore once a day. And
well, sorry.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So, I mean, George can explain it. Or
okay, yeah. Then, sorry, yes, I got distracted at that point. I would cast Legend Lore on Nilo then.
Interesting. I'm just reminding myself of the text of Legend Lore. It brings to mind a brief summary of the significant lore about the thing you named, and it has to be of legendary importance, or like in some form significant. You get it, like Legend Lore. You cast the spell successfully. It returns no information on it, which suggests that it does not meet the criteria of being sufficiently legendary in that regard. You can roll, please, a d6.
Oh, damn it. 1.
Okay, you can't cast that spell again until next dawn.
Okay.
They will recharge otherwise.
So, if we need to work out why I think we want to know why the Archfey weren't allowed to have it. I tried to think of whoever sealed off the hedge mace from the rest of...
Sealed off hedge mace. Roll a d10 for me, please.
10. 9.
9, okay. There's a sort of lock sensation of what the information you're imparting and querying, like locks onto something within the constant. And there is, as you have seen several times now, this sort of swirl of green-white motes that come out and sketch out into a form of a person. They're human. They're dressed in sort of adventuring gear. Like they have that kind of like slightly ripped open shirt, that kind of like full-on swashbuckling type vibe.
Nice.
Unlike everyone you saw, Torsten conjure, who's facing towards the user, they're facing away towards the constant. They're gesturing like it belongs in a. I've double crossed. You can't have it. Points at you.
Hello, I'm 355.
Oh, you working for Enron? Is that it?
I'm sorry,
Where is this?
do not know.
How are you doing this?
I'm afraid you are a recording of yourself, I suppose.
Oh, I'm complete disbelief. Make a history check, by the way. Actually, 355. You are proficient in it by virtue of the
yeah.
of being attuned.
25.
Nice.
That's just enough.
Sorry, 23.
That's not quite enough.
Oh.
There's definitely something familiar about this person. Like something you have learned about the hedge maze specifically. There's a connection of you can't quite place who this person is.
Get Doc out.
We know their name, don't we? I've got it written down in my notes.
Potentially.
Rhizaeus?
No.
What did you say to them last 355?
Sorry, say again.
What did you last say to them?
What did I? So hang on. What am I saying? I think I'm not going to say all of this. I would explain like who I am, why I was built. That I was built to go to the hedge maze and retrieve the constant.
Wait, what year is this? No, but we haven't established canonically what year it is, and to avoid that, you, if you wish, can tell them the year.
I tell them whatever the year is. Yeah.
Huh. Well, this is yeah. So maybe you're right about the recording thing, or maybe something else. Anyway, what do you want?
As I said, I was created to retrieve the constant, and with the help
I'm guessing
of...
you have it.
Correct. And it is expected of us that we will return the constant to Keepers Nilo and Cade. But we have reason to believe that may not be the best idea.
Wait, Cade's still kicking around? That'll make them what, like 900? Older? Huh.
What do you know of Cade?
They're a gnome, academic. I mean, already like 400 by the time I knew them. Speaking of things that belong in a museum, yeah, there's one for sure.
And you believed the constant should be kept away from everyone?
No, it was important. It was something worth studying. That's why I went looking for it. I clearly got this close, gestures at the constant being right there. But I guess it didn't pan out, huh?
I think at that point, I will... Sorry, I need to just... I have some friends that I think you should speak with, but I need to collapse the constant for a moment to take you to it.
What, is that going to, like, kill me or something?
No, it shall not kill you, because you exist within it and you shall still exist within it, but I don't know how it works. You may not remember this conversation.
All right, wood panels, get it over with.
So I collapse the constant down and come out of the vessel. And yeah, so I tell everybody basically what's happened, and so I would like to introduce you all to... I can't remember his name already.
You didn't
get his name. Yeah.
So I don't try and introduce him.
Is it that Cavill guy? Cavill Renfair?
Nice. We were 24, 23 from before 355. That is enough to make the connection. Yeah, that fits. Like one of the earlier hedge maze scholars who'd been there sometime previously.
Right. Note taking.
Someone mentioned, yeah.
I remember that Henry Cavill joke as well.
Yeah, I remembered it via Superman. Cool.
I'd written it down, but
Henry Cavill.
I'd written it down, but I put such a gap between Cavill and Redfar that they looked like two separate names. So I was like, and they were right underneath Rika, so I was like, hang on. I just got very confused as to who was who, to be honest.
Cool. Well, I said, expand the constant and recall.
And you can, with the name, you can make the connection. You can confirm definitely that this is the same person. It opens in exactly the same way. He comes out like gesturing at the constant it belongs. Like the whole beginning of that conversation will play out exactly the same way, unless you deviate from the script, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can catch him back up in the same way that you did and get into this kind of same point. So you can continue the conversation from roughly where you were.
So we all would need to know as much as you can tell us about Kate and the constant and why it was kept away from the Archfey in the first place.
Well, I did some work for Kate from time to time, but we didn't really see eye to eye. They hoard things, keep them, away from public view. Not my way of doing things. I do this stuff because I want it to be studied. I want to make a positive impact. They are less of that. What was the other question? The constant. You probably know more about it than I do at this point.
Why were you looking for it?
Find of a lifetime. Find of the millennia. I had an inkling of what it could do. I didn't think it was, this, but think of the implications.
Do you know another keeper called Keeper Nilo?
No. I don't think I do. I haven't met him.
When you were searching for it, the constant, was there any other people searching for it as well? People that we should be careful of?
Oh yeah, Enrin.
Who's that?
Oh, mean guy.
Yeah.
From somewhere up north. He calls himself an archaeologist, but he just roars around destroying things, killing anyone who gets in his way.
Does he have muscles, flesh, skin?
A hat.
Any
looks
facial
at you
hair?
like, what the hell kind of question is that? Well, yeah.
Okay, just checking.
It's just general mistrust from my past lover. Don't worry about it.
All right.
So Enren was like a, archaeologist that was also after the constant, and were they working with anyone for anyone that we should be worried about?
Well, they've always, they don't do what they do. Well, they would study things, but they usually, collectors employ them, that kind of thing. Like they really do it for the money.
Oh.
So I don't know. I assume there's someone behind it, but I never found out. Guess might never find out at all now.
What year was it when you went to find the constant? Did you encounter another Warforged that looks like our friend 355 here?
No. He names a year that's about 600-ish years ago. Not exact,
Right.
but with some drift around that, but it's that kind of territory. Look, I wish I could help you. I don't know what you want to hear from me, but
You could tell us people that did you discover anything about the origin of the constant? Like anything about it that isn't public knowledge that we would know, because that would help greatly.
it wasn't. There was a bunch of writing. Most of the writing was a lot of crap, but it was coveted by two Archfey, the Drusilla, the Conservator, and Rack, yeah. But they didn't make it. Rack and Ruin, yeah, no, but they didn't make it. It was it's some older thing from some plane of order or some other stuff like that. I don't really tracing it back this far is hard enough. But
Can I make a roll in regards to my research and planar knowledge to see if I can figure out what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that would be probably a history roll, I reckon. Yeah, history roll.
Shit. Okay.
Back to it,
Oh, 13?
13. Like, people have posited those kind of theories in the writings you've read because, like, it's a very odd thing for, like, people had suspicion that it's not a Fey artifact per se because it doesn't fit with the whole, for want of a better phrase, the whole vibe of the Fey. It's not a very Fey thing. But they clearly wanted it for some reason, and it is something that, like, we've not been able to trace back where it came from originally in any of the writings you've read. This is in some way, like, the idea that it might be from a plane of order or some kind of thing like that is new information to you, seems credible, but it could be nonsense.
I meant like, to figure out what the plane of order is and if I know anything about that plane. In regards to my general theory on planes, would I know what plane of existence he's talking about?
Yes, I can't remember the name of one of the canonical planes of order off the top of my head, but there are several. There's the kind of the clockwork. I can't remember what it's called. There's the clockwork plane that has a lot of sort of stuff about enforcing contracts and, like, the sort of the complete immutability and unchangeability of things.
Oh,
that sounds horrible.
Me.
Is that Primus or something?
That sounds like it might be right. I think Modrons are from there, so I can probably look that up and find out.
I think Primus is the creator of that.
That sounds about right.
Not the place.
You assume that you would know.
Okay.
Mechanus, that's it. Mechanus is one of them. Eternally revolving gears, clockwork routine, perfect order. Meccano, yes, Mechanus or Mechanus, depending on where you put your emphasis, is the plane of order. That could be the one in question. It's not necessarily the case, but that would fit with some of the aesthetic of the concept.
Would I know that the ruler of that is Primus? I mean, I know that, but would Barda know?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Cool. I look at you guys and I'm like, shrug. Maybe there's something there.
We do have a really easy out, because we have this whole confusing moral quandary over whether Cade is just a fusty old academic who's going to keep it forever, or potential world-ending, super dodgy archfey. But we also met a bit of a, prat, but vaguely okay and kept his word guy in Baldur's Gate who offered us loads and loads of money and probably isn't an evil archfey who's going to take over the world. So if we could just tell Cade it's been destroyed, sell it to Pentaton, and he'll be about as bad as Cade if Cade's fine and was just going to keep it in their office, and much, much, much better than Cade if Cade is going to give it, or is, Rack and Ruin or Drusilda. What do you think? I'm not saying we should do it, I'm just saying it's an option we haven't discussed.
Well, I would certainly like some money. Yes, character-wise, I think Viorica would definitely prefer it to be given to Pentaton. From Ed's point of view, I'd quite like to see what happens if we give it to Cade.
Oh, yeah, from a gameplay point of view, but...
It does make sense.
It is an option.
Yeah.
Personally, I am not interested in financial reasons or gain from this.
I suppose I would be worried that if we think that the true power of this object lies in someone very clever being able to get knowledge from it, then whilst we may not think Pentaton may be bright enough to gain horrible world-destroying knowledge from it, he may sell it to someone who can.
I think he could also have been quite clever. Being an asshole doesn't mean he's thick.
That is true.
I would say that, personally, if you'd have said this before we went to the hedge maze, I might have been for it. But we left that halfling. Oh, sorry. We left that halfling with Pentaton. He let him go. Them?
Them go.
Them, yeah. He let them go. And they were with Darvex and that Tiefling. So I wouldn't trust Pentaton as far as I can throw him. And believe me, I can throw him pretty far.
And actually,
I'd like to see that.
I wouldn't. I've also just remembered that if we go back and tell Cade that we failed, I don't think I ever get to leave the Athenaeum again. So,
Right.
I forgot about that bit. I've been having too much fun outside. But that shouldn't change all your minds. If you think we should go to Penticton, that's totally fine. I don't like sunshine that much. It's all okay.
Hey, I don't know if I get a vote, but I say don't give it to a private collector. That's
Also,
the worst option.
If we're worried about, I think Cade is probably the conservator, if anything. And if we're worried about Rack and Ruin, I'd stay away from that one. I'd much rather go towards the conservator.
Oh yeah, and Cade and Nino do kind of hate each other, right? It's not like they're buddies.
You would prefer
Professional
order?
hatred, but
Well, that does imply that 355 was made by Rack and Ruin.
we still love you.
I'm saying that Nilo might not be Rack and Ruin. I'm saying Penticton might be.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's a curveball.
It's me.
But again, this is all just, speculation.
We have struggled to find any strict evidence that this is the case other than an uncanny feeling. Is that correct?
Yeah.
A gut feeling.
Then perhaps we should continue with the original plan to return to the Athenaeum and return it to Keeper Cade, but maybe we just need to think of some questions to ask.
We could go in and tell them it's been destroyed, and if they're just like, oh, my life's work, I'm really sad, never mind, here's some money, well done, you tried, we give them the constant, and if they suddenly transform into a terrifying evil monster, we're like, aha.
It is such a powerful magic item, surely it would be sensed by anyone with a vague sense.
Darvax didn't sense it. Oh, I see, as in if we bring it into the space.
Yes.
I would assume Drasilda would be on another level to Darvax as well.
Yeah, Darvax isn't that powerful.
Yeah,
Wait, are you talking about throwing down with Drasilda? Is that where this is going?
We don't know.
What would that mean?
I mean, I don't do it. Fighting an archfey, that's like punching God. You might get to do it, but you're only going to do it once, briefly.
And you see our dilemma. We may be delivering the constant directly to them.
Yeah.
You knew Cade. Do you think we're completely on the wrong track, or do you think it's a possibility?
Well, I didn't know Cade was 1,000 years old, so I don't think gnomes live that long. Do gnomes live that long? I actually don't know. But it seems right. Well, I only know a little about the Archfey, but you can. Well, I don't know if this is any help, but if you're in the right place and they want to take your call, you can use their name 3 times and call to them. So maybe that's a way of. No, that's a terrible idea. That just means. You'll find out one way or the other, I guess, but maybe you find you don't want to find out. I don't know.
What's the right place?
Somewhere important to them, or somewhere they're going to be able to hear you.
So if we stood in Cade's office and went Drusilda, then Beetlejuice appears, and
we're in the 80s.
And we know one way or another, and then we scream and run. Or go, oh, a silly misunderstanding. We definitely didn't think you, our patron, was someone super evil. This is fine.
Before you do that, can I go back in there?
And unless anybody's going to stop me, I will collapse the Constantine.
Okay.
Oh, that's a shame. He was very pretty to look at.
I liked his hat.
Not my taste.
So we are going back to Cade, but we should maybe decide exactly what conversation, we initiate. Then Cade might take it in a funny direction. But we should decide how much of the truth we're telling and what we're going to do, right?
Oh my god. Wait.
Oh no.
Did the Constant scan Darvax?
No, he wasn't in there by that stage.
Damn it.
Well, let's try it.
Right.
Let's try it.
I open the Constant up and think about Darvax.
Nothing in there. Yeah, so and you're correct in your memory that the scan happened before Darvax was in the room. So you don't know how far it reached, but and I think you did see how far it reached actually, which was the scope of the confines of that room.
While it's up, I think back to just immediately previous conversation and think about Enrin.
That was a good
interesting.
shout.
Nothing comes up. which implies that Enrin never got close enough. Not as close as Cavill.
Yeah, up yours, Enrin.
I think about mechanical people.
Yeah. So the maker of this could be Primus. Try that.
Yeah, I think about Primus.
You get confirmation of what Torsten mentioned, which is there are no immortals contained herein. I don't know. I think that will extend to most beings of Incarnates, actually.
Yeah,
So
I wasn't
you won't
sure.
find even any of the drones and stuff. Like, I mean, they can be killed. They are destructible, but they have an unnatural lifespan in that regard.
Yeah, if you can kill God, is it really immortal?
Make I know this is a weird response to that question, but make either an Arcana or a History check.
I will take the history check. That's
All right.
What? Okay. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Oh,
A good time to get it. But
What's the total?
what we're talking about.
What is that total to?
sorry, 27.
27. Well, with that flash of insight, like having that question having been put, like there are only mortal creatures in here as far as you've seen. This thing seems to, I don't know about deconstruct, but it see utterly a creature that it scans. Like, the things the replicas you've been talking to have felt like they've been indistinguishable from a person other than the physical appearance in that regard. What would something like this do to an immortal creature, which is, when you get to the serious immortals, like, gods and, say, fae and stuff like that, like things who are sort of more than confined to reality in the way that mortality is, like, what would it do to a creature maybe this wouldn't work, and maybe you can't know a thing that well, or maybe, and this is your inspired theory, maybe, is that by cataloging them in such a clinical way, it would reduce them to less than they actually are.
Oh, wow. So to use a modern terminology, so the hard disk of this thing isn't big enough to take on an immortal entire...
Other way round, in that it could fit, if it can fit if that is the case, if it can scan an immortal in that way, by knowing it in such a way that immortals, hard to pin down. Many things, they can be known in all kinds of ways. If they are reduced to something that is so reductive, could that be a threat to them?
Do you share that with us?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think it through so that then I can try and imagine how Bjorka would imagine this. So is it like effectively one of those Ghostbusters?
You're not sure. I mean, for this thing, it doesn't. For the people who've seen it scan, it hasn't. Like, some of you have spoken to yourselves contained within the constant. You are still, as far as you are aware, whole and intact as you are. But you've spoken to something that has been effectively indistinguishable from yourself, like a perfect copy.
Yeah. Ooh,
whereas something truly inimitable, if you can copy that, it could reduce the capacity, like the existence of the original in some way.
Yeah. And also would mean that there is another version of whatever that is, and whatever that could imply. Right. So Bjorka is going to slightly. Oh my God! I think this could be very, very dangerous to immortal beings. It could reduce them. It could trap them potentially on one plane.
How
this
so?
is. If a thing is immortal and it can go across planes, and something on one plane, a copy is made of it, then it could trap whatever it is that the copy has been made from near it, potentially. Sorry, I'm not sure if this is true, but
I activate the scan function of the constant and scan.
It scans
Like,
everyone standing within
100
foot of it. There's that explosion. There's that emission of that green-white light, the same kind of motes, but in a big wave that comes out up to 100 feet from where it's located, and it scans everything that it passes through. Over.
Wow.
Do I get any sort of feedback from that, or like
you feel the sense of what's a Concord?
I'm trying to work out, like, is Bjorka's theory right? Is that something with my Arcana and, well, not history, but
make an Arcana roll. So yeah, see what you get out of them. You have advantage because you're looking for specific information that the Oracle is giving you. But yeah,
cool. And just to check, this I already had proficiency in Arcana, so this thing doesn't
increase it any further. I'm afraid. No. Yeah.
That's fine. But so yeah, that's 21.
Yeah, well, what Yorika is saying makes complete sense in that, if you now experiment by pulling up copies of things that have just been scanned, and that could be any of you, but also there's the horses, there's the cart, there's objects, there's trees, there's plants, like anything that this is scanned, you can pull up a copy of if you're able to figure out what it is. And there is this sense of these things have been picked apart, disassembled, or reduced to their fundamental elements, and then the constant is recreating that and storing that. If you apply the same logic to something where the fundamental parts are intangible and ineffable, like that, like literally, like to pin things down in that way, to make it specific in a way that the constant could know them, would damage the original.
Wow.
What would it have done to Sparky?
Interesting question. I think it scanned Sparky, didn't it?
No, because Sparky. Oh,
Sparky might not have been
remember
out.
if I'd bumped. No, Sparky was out because Sparky helped people across the floor.
True. Yes. You can call up Sparky if you want.
I don't want to kill him.
I mean, I don't have any. I'd try to work out if that would occur to me to do that.
What do I mean? Yeah,
Did Valka say it out loud? No, yeah.
Valka is very confused because people are talking about planes again.
So do I think that then, like, if I was to activate the scan within range of Nilo and Arcade, I could tell. I'd be able to tell whether they were really.
I mean, with your 21 still, that is a perfectly reasonable assumption. But if it does function as you, if the implications of what we
might harm.
said, you don't know if it's the. It seems like it is the scan itself that is the thing that will do that, rather than the.
But
the recalling.
Do we think that they know that? Because we could waltz into Cade's office and be like, "Hello, we have found the constant. Look, it does this cool thing when you open it up and it scans everyone. Let us show you. And if they stop us, then we know that they're wrong.
Yeah,
or at least that they are more than."
Yeah. And if they don't stop us, either they get zapped or they're fine.
That's the thing. I don't think we should give them any prefixing. I think we should just go in and set it off, and then however they react, that will be our answer.
I agree with that.
If the only reason they want it is because it can harm them, perhaps they're just protecting themselves.
Yeah, like if they are archfey but actually really nice now, then if we set it off without any warning, we could kill them, and that without any conversation first. That sounds like what the bad people do.
They're already trying to hide themselves, though, if they are this. And if they aren't, which is what we certainly hope, then they won't be affected at all.
But like,
when we did walk across the battlefield strewn with bodies forward over.
But people could change. And like 355 said, if they're just trying to protect themselves, then hiding isn't of itself bad. If the
only... Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, yes, it could be they are archfey and evil and we zap them, it's great. Or it could be they are not archfey and zapping does nothing. But there is a very small but important possibility that yes, they are archfey but not evil, and if we don't have any conversation, we just go, waha! Then we hurt them, torture them, kill them, trap them somewhere horrible for all eternity, and we can't undo that. Like,
I don't really want to kill a fae if it can be helped.
I just
Perhaps
don't.
we should just tell them what we have found and ask them to explain.
Yeah, and I liked the suggestion of being like, it does this cool thing, and if they leap to stop us, then we know at least there's a conversation to be had, and also then we have a bargaining tool. We can stand in front of whoever it is who's got it, going, you talk to us, or they'll boom. Like, we have leverage. There is Veracity doesn't know the word leverage. We have an option now. There is now we have a more level playing field to have a conversation. I don't think we just have to go in all finger guns firing.
Then why would they keep our families?
We don't know that they have. They might have just been keeping them in the really nice, comfy Athenaeum as a bit of a holiday so that they're there to welcome us when we return home triumphant. I know we were all in a super weird, mind-bendy, suspicious, horrible place that kept trying to kill us in really intriguing and scary ways, which might have made us a bit paranoid. Maybe they are nice people who are giving our family comfy beds and hot food as a thank you and to give us a big hug when we get back. Or maybe they're evil and keeping them prisoner and it's going to be a horrible hostage situation, but we don't know.
Did me and Titus say? Did I say to Titus that I was going to meet him at home? I feel like
you did. I didn't think you explicitly said go, like absolutely go home.
No.
But you did. That was the suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't going to wait for me. That wasn't.
Didn't say so.
No.
But
you didn't have the most constructive of conversations last time either.
I know
but,
he did. I know he did. But it's one of those things that this is a job. He would have just gone home and waited for me to get home. It's
But it
weird
could have
that
happened afterwards. They could have been packing up to leave, and Kay went, "What? Aren't you staying? They'll be back in a week. You might as well stay here and meet them when they get home." It's possibly evil and bad, but also it might just be them being nice. We should be prepared for all the evil, bad options. I just don't think we should go in and zap them without any opportunity to explain themselves, because we could then do a really evil, bad thing, and then we'd be the baddies.
We can make sure your families are out of Elturel before they even know we are back.
They should be. Unless somebody stops them, they should be. But there are hundreds of people at the Athenaeum. Other people who have families, other people who have lives. I am not saying that we should go kill a lot of people, but when it comes down to it, let's just be careful, okay?
I agree. I think we don't know everything, but we know enough now, I think, to at least carry on. Veracity, perhaps you can rest and maybe send a message afterwards. Either that or on the journey, once we get a little closer, Barda, maybe you can think of something, an item that Max has, and see if everyone's still within the Athenaeum. And we approach Cade, and with the conversation that we've talked about, and we see what happens. I don't think we should be taking this to anyone else without more knowledge.
I agree. Is Torsten listening to all of this, by the way?
Yeah, I've not been trampling over you because you've had a lot to say, but yes, he's been mostly he's been following along the conversation and participating, but he's still pretty much on the same position as you, which is what the heck do we do? There's more personal stakes in that. I mean, he's probably known Cade longer than most of you, so probably all of you. But yeah, there's definitely bound up in many of the same personal stakes. Well, yes, I'm not in favor of just killing someone if that's what we're going to do, but we need the truth. It's time.
Exactly. Although that Cavill fellow did make an excellent point that if Keeper Cade's intention with the Constant was to just lock it away so no one could access it and no one could study it, assuming that Cade is a normal person and not a Fae, then perhaps that's another conversation that needs to be had. And I would, to be honest, at this point feel more comfortable leaving it with Torsten than Cade, but...
Oh, well, yes, I suppose that is an option. Right, well... Oh, shall we get some sleep before we head back?
I think Valka's right. Be prepared for the worst, but hope for the best.
I don't know about the rest of you. I'm still feeling pretty rested. I'm happy to continue driving the horses onwards, perhaps with 355, while the rest of you rest in the back of the cart.
I can help with that as well. I am entirely rested.
Cool. Yeah, there's enough space for whoever needs the spell slots to rest in the back of the car while you travel. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, you can take the long rest button. We'll press on into the Athenaeum and Elturel. When you get back, what's the first place you're going to head to? And is it together or separately?
I want someone to either send a message to Titus or use a spell thing to check whether they're still in the city or not.
I'd need to be in the Athenaeum, be within 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
I can cast sending.
I was going to say, I
You
think.
don't have to. We can wait till we're a bit closer.
I was going to say, I think we should have a sending like before we actually get back. Like when we're getting close, within sight.
Yeah, it'll have to be because it'll probably be roughly crossover. You'll be within sight of the city because the Athenaeum's sort of on the outskirts anyway.
Before we actually enter the city.
Yeah, but you'll have completed your long rest when you're within visual distance of the city. It's probably, what time do you come back? Yeah, it's probably like very early morning when the time you're coming back in. So there's those few lights on because lots of people are either up studying late or working late or something. So the Athenaeum is a little better lit than most of the city at this time of night. And you can see it silhouetted on the horizon. You've all completed as much rest as you want to, so you're welcome to, if you wish, burn some more spell slots.
Only 1 instead of 5, it's fine.
No, that's fair.
So I'm just asking Titus where he is and if he's okay and if anything dodgy's happened.
Yeah.
Hello, Titus. Me again. Where are you? Are you in the I don't need to do syllables. Athenaeum is all one word. Did anything dodgy happen? Anyone look suspicious? Are you hurt? Are you safe?
We're clear. Been walking all night on the road south with the families. Keeping going this way unless you say otherwise. Really, please explain why. Very soon, it's quite weird.
I don't reply because I want the 3rd level spell slots for possibly fighting an archfey. But they are on the road with Valka's family. They've been walking all night. Titus sounds a bit grumpy because I didn't do any explaining because I thought maybe, word count, but also I thought that maybe telling him that you might be going to face an archfey by yourself would maybe not be super helpful right now. So you might need to apologize and explain later. But
Yeah, in all honesty, it wouldn't surprise him, and it's not going to be the only thing I'm going to be apologizing for. And then Barda puts their hand on Valka's shoulder and just gives it like a tight squeeze. It's like, I told you, he's a good guy.
Or he's lying, tortured, and in prison. No, I didn't say anything.
Cool. And you're heading into the Athenaeum?
Mm-hmm. Who has the constant 355 habit
question.
rate?
I think it's 355, isn't it? Yeah. You're still attuned to it as well, which makes sense.
We didn't give it back to Torsten for that 8-hour thing. That's quite harsh.
I mean, he's not attuned to it anymore. To be fair, you have to keep swapping it over. But he understands. He's upset, but he understands. He's with you on this. You come through the gate of the Athenaeum, and one of the guards stops you and says, "Oh, Barda, there's a someone brought this for you. There's a little sort of the equivalent of a manila envelope, like a wrapped package, a package wrapped in string with your name written quite shonkily on it."
I'm going to move away from when this gets opened. I don't want to be there.
Group backs up.
Barda's passive perception is 20. She literally gives Valka the daggers. Like, thank you. All right. Take out the package.
You take the package. You can see written on this where it's sort of wrapped over in, again, very bad handwriting, is best open when alone.
My point precisely.
She's going to turn her body away from people, but she's going to open it now.
All right.
Veracity will do her very best to see what's in it.
Are you trying to be are you trying to be subtle, or are you trying to just like jump up fast enough that the butter can't stop you?
Ooh, let me see. What's better, my stealth or my dex? They're the same. Subtlety, because Barda can be scary when she's cross.
Okay, so make a stealth roll for that.
19.
Barda, what's your passive?
20.
Oh, Barda's passive is 20, so you see Veracity trying to like just schmoop around you and peek.
Yeah, I just turn a little bit more.
You open the package. Inside is... it's very familiar, but takes you a second to place what it is. It's a gem, a dark gem, about sort of this big, with facets and a solid flat surface on the front. It's dark, sort of black-grey kind of colour. And again, it's like, this is really familiar, but I've never seen this as an object before. Partially helped by the contents of the rest of the package, you place this as one of Darvax's eye gems. and it's been packaged along with 3 crow, well, slightly mouldering at this point, crow feathers.
He's just giving you one of his eyes. That feels weird.
Has he, though?
Well, exactly.
Oh, no.
But also, does it just mean, like, I see what you've been doing?
No, Ed, I think it's Crowbeard's boss is like, well, he's fucked it up because of her, so I'm going to pluck his eyes out and send it to her.
I feel like that's... I see what you mean, but I feel like that's a less...
Is there a note? Is there anything else?
Nothing on the inside. I assume you just got it held in your hands, like in the package still.
Yeah, she's
We don't know
gonna
this.
she's gonna wrap it back up and just put it in a bag.
What was that, Barda? Do we want to deal with this now or later?
Something for later.
You okay?
No,
Oh, are you okay enough?
I'm okay to deal with this.
Okay.
Okay. Let us know what you need.
I'm kind of hoping that Cade's a douchebag and we can kill him. Anyway, let's go.
Silver linings.
Cool. You head to the Winterglass building. Correct, yeah? Coming through the doors. That first area is still there, which is a sort of little showcase area where there's sort of like a half dozen display cases, glass cabinets and stuff for showing things off, which is still the same as the last time you were here, actually. Kay does rotate them out occasionally, but there are a few choice artifacts carefully chosen. Yes, Ed?
Shit. Viorica wants to just go up and put on the 355 shoulder. Do you think you could bring up any of the things that Cade has got in his collection?
Only if any of them are living creatures.
Oh, it has to be living.
You've had non-living creatures scanned, like the carts, or something you can recall, and other inanimate things. Yeah.
Then, if they were scanned by the constant, then yes.
Could it bring up itself?
Going by my use of it so far, like, do I think it's capable of scanning itself?
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
No. I do not believe that is a function it is capable of.
Understood. Just wanted to check before we got in there.
I have one last question before we go in here. 355. You said that Nilo, and you suspected Nilo being Rack and Ruin, right?
Perhaps. There is a similarity.
Has Nilo asked you to bring some of this?
That was my original function. I was not built for Cade. Nilo built me to go alone and retrieve the constant.
Do you know why?
I was under the impression that she wanted it to be freely studied and thought that Nilo would just put it in a box in a warehouse.
And you trust Nilo?
Do I want to roll for that? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna roll an insight, and George can tell me. Ha! That's a natural 1, so 4. Do I trust Nilo?
I'd say you just are so conflicted at this point. You probably have a lot of natural instincts, because as much as she's not a parent, like she's still your creator and someone who you've lived around for the longest part of the life. So it's hard to shake that. But this has definitely shaken your trust, and you have no idea at this point where to put it.
In all honesty, Bada, I have no idea who Nilo is right now.
Do we think it would be better or worse to ask Nilo to come to Cade's office when we present the constant?
I believe they should both be present.
That might be the most fascinating way. Let's do that.
Maybe
Good.
355 if you think it's if you think you're up to it, if you think it's within yourself to be able to do that, you should go and ask her to come along. Are you able to lie to her?
I will not lie, but we shall see how perceptive she is today.
If you do that, I trust you completely, 355, but you should leave the constant here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Tell him that I kept it on me because I'm clingy like that or something.
That's not a lie, so you'll be fine.
Agreed.
I like to make sure things are safe.
And we shall wait nearby Cade's office, but not somewhere that they'll see us, hopefully.
You just like retreat back out the front door. Of
Yeah,
the,
we're
of the
in
building.
already.
Cool. Yeah, go on.
So I go find Nilo.
Before we do that, will you stay attuned to this? Because you're the only one that can use it right now.
I mean, do I think I will? Do I have any reason?
I mean,
to
it follows most of the normal rules for attunement, which is, I mean, just because you're not holding it doesn't mean you'll lose your attunement. I think you can voluntarily. Certainly, if someone else attunes to it, then you get blocked off.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, there should be no problem with that.
Untidy.
You head over across campus, and their offices are conspicuously far apart. Like they're not quite the two furthest points of this site, but they are definitely like not very near one another. You head over there. It's very familiar. You've been doing it a lot in the last few weeks up to this point. And you reach the building. You head up the stairs to the sort of the floor where she has her warehouse and her office. Where are you going to look for her first?
I go into.
I mean, it's early morning, but you might. She does tend to work late.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'll head to the office first.
Okay. Do you knock? Do you just walk in?
I assume I would knock. I assume that's what I would.
Yeah, normally you
doing.
would. Yeah, you knock.
So I would
and there
be
is
trying to act
no
as sort of
answer from the office.
no answer. So if she's been working late and it's early, would she be in like her room or
More likely to be in the workshop if she's working late.
right? Okay. Then I go there.
Okay.
I mean, is
You guys
that
knock
through the
or
office?
entry? That is not. They're separate doors on the same floor.
Right. Okay. Then yes, I knock on the workshop door.
What's your passive perception?
Not amazing.
Not great.
13.
Okay, that's enough. There's no answer, but you can hear the sound of someone inside. Just quietly, not like making a lot of noise.
Yeah, I think because I think we said before there was like a little bit on a shelf in the workshop where my vessel would live. So I sort of consider that a bit more like home, and I have a bit more right
definitely.
to just walk in. So after no answer, then I just will open the door and go in.
The workshop is a wreck. Like someone has smashed this place up good and proper. Like it's been like the shelves have been ripped off the wall, tables have been upended, stuff has just been like dragged off and dumped on the floor where it's either shattered or a lot of it's robust and it's bounced, but it's been moved around aggressively. In the middle of the room, Dahlia is there, Keeper Nilo is there, on her knees, just face turned away from you. She will turn towards you as you enter, and she's clearly been in tears. And her eyes widen slightly as she sees you, and she just opens her mouth to stammer something out. And we'll pick that up. After a short break. I'm sorry. It had to be done. We're at the halfway point. I don't like to do it to you, but we.
Liar!
Nice.
Nice.
That's
Too much joy.
Yeah, well done.
Cool. Thank you very much. This is the end of the first half. We'll be back in 5 or 10 or so minutes to conclude, to land this bus and see what's happening in here and what's going to happen with Cade and whatever else we get through. So yeah, cool. Thank you very much. Catch you in 5 or 10. Hello and welcome back to the second half of the final episode of Seekers of Elturel Buried. Before the break, 355 had gone into creators, 355, gone into their creators, Keeper Nilo's workshop and found them amid smashed shells, smashed stuff on the floor, having clearly been weeping, and she had opened her mouth to speak. And what she was going to say was, I'm so sorry.
What has happened to you? Are you all right?
I'm fine. She gets to her feet, and you can immediately feel her see her sort of recomposing herself. A little bit of the mask is still coming back down, like normally very buttoned down person, except when she's working on certain things. But definitely that sort of more like sharpening. Her dress has been rumpled from kneeling down. She's clearly in a bit of a state, but very much just like adopting that personality again. I assume. He came here. I assume you know who I'm talking about. 119.
I sent him back to this plane.
Yes, well...
I did not know where he would end up.
Here, as it turns out, in the workshop. He was displeased. And he is... That's not an unfair opinion to have. But you're back. You made it. You not only came back, but you brought back someone I thought was lost.
Yes, and there is more unexpected news. I think you should come with me, and we will all go to see Keeper Kate together.
She looks you up and down carefully. Do you have it?
I do not have it. No.
You didn't bring it back?
I did not bring it back.
Make a deception check. I'm aware that the literal, some of your words may not be a lie, but it is enough of an obfuscation to merit hiding. What do you think?
Ooh, she's so going to tell us the dragon.
27.
Oh, nice.
Is anyone else just not breathing?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Good, okay.
Okay.
Well, 355, definitely. She looks as disappointed as you have seen her look, which is to say, very mutedly so, but you can tell. Oh. Well, I suppose I'll get to see the look on their face when you haven't told them yet. You haven't got it.
Not yet.
Well, I suppose one other good thing can happen today. Yes, let's go.
Cool.
Wow.
And you can walk. I mean, she will walk in silence unless you make conversation with her. But you can walk back across campus.
Not gonna.
Yeah, she's a bundle of tension and nervous energy, buttoned under this very calm exterior. You shortly make your way back to outside the Winterglass building, where I assume everyone else has been cooling their heels, just trying to stay out of the sight of the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, seeing as we're kind of trying to wait for 355 and stuff, I think Bart is going to suggest that we kind of try and stay low and shoot. I would have stealthed, try to just sort of hide in plain sight, as it were.
As it were, okay. Yes.
I'd be up for trying to do that stealth as well.
Finding a skulking spot. Yeah, all 5 of you, I guess, because Torsten, please make, I was going to say deception rolls, no. Stealth rolls would be lovely.
30-20.
I'm going to switch to physical dice.
Could anyone give me a hand?
Yeah, any help.
I'm not doing a spell, I'm not doing it. Can I point out a good place to hunker down?
To be fair, I know Valka struggles, so I'll cast invisibility on Valka because it doesn't cost me anything.
All right. Well, Valka, you can make the check with advantage. You're invisible, obviously, but make the stealth check with advantage because you're still potentially audible. But here, you'll probably be fine. Veracity, you can help Viorica for the purpose of this because particularly as you're standing still, it's one of those things where you can find a skulking spot rather than being on the move, where it's harder to help in this way. So
you really helpful.
You just stand here and do that and pretend to be a drain pipe.
So we're going to keep you at disadvantage. No, carry on.
It's not much better, but it's now a 13.
All right. Valka and Barda?
I rolled 2 9s for a total of 9.
I got 19.
19, okay. Surprisingly muted stealth rolls for this party. Nonetheless, you find yourself unbothered by people. It is late. Like, there's not many people about at this time, and those who aren't really paying attention to, like, people don't come to the museum this late, really, unless you're working there. You're there for it's probably about 20, 25 minutes by the time that 355 returns with Dahlia. I think 355, your passive perception is good enough to spot some of these people, but not all of them. But you know that they can come forward as you reconvene and prepare to go inside.
There's just like a very awkward shimmer in the air in front of you.
Dahlia takes you all. I don't know if any of you, or certainly many, I mean, Veracity's probably met Keep an Eye before. The others probably not, because she's certainly more aloof and works in a different, like, she's more of a golometrist than anything else. So you are far less likely to have crossed paths with her, particularly since you've been working for Cade. She will not greet you, but she will take you in with a sort of like a curt head nod. I guess that counts as greeting, but a curt head nod rather than anything remotely warm.
Hello.
She looks around for the source of Valka's voice. Can we get this over with?
Barda, I think it would be appropriate to not be invisible, unless we think it could work to our advantage.
I think it might well. This is the first thing that we are
Cade will ask us if we left you to die, and then we'd have to lie, and they'll just know that you're there somewhere, surely.
Probably.
Penila scoffs and walks ahead of all of you into the building. It's very much like, oh.
I mean, you can just punch something.
That's true.
Like, gently punches Barda's shoulder.
It counts as an attack roll. Fine, you could end invisibility that way. Great.
Should we give the thing back to 355?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
they can use it.
Exactly.
Yeah, Barda's gonna have it, like, ready for you. She was expecting us to be just like, kick the door in.
Right.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Heading inside.
Bjorka wants to try and go up to the door first and open it for everybody, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Dahlia has gone ahead of you and is pretty much just like stalked into Cade's office and sat haughtily on one of the like. There's still that sort of makeshift conference table that's been brought back. Just like sort of just sitting there, just like arms folded, just like, come on, let's get it. Like that kind of like vibe. Cade is looking up, has clearly been reading at their desk, but stands as Bjorka comes into view.
Good day to you, Keeper Cade. We have some news. And then going to stand aside for everybody to come in.
We're back! Hello!
Good morning and welcome back. Yes, I mean, do you have it? I did not know that Keeper Nyalo would be here for this.
We actually had some questions before we tell you what happened.
But you have brought the constant.
It is here. We have it.
What does Keeper Nilo do? And I want to roll an insight on whatever they do. She does.
Ditto.
Well, she tries. I mean, you don't even have to roll insight with that, I don't think, because she rolled that one, like a terrible roll on. Like, she tries to stay cool because she wanted to pretend that she already knew that in front of Keeper Cade, but she like actually like jumps in her chair and starts forward, and then just like, yep, like that sort of like all in.
Okay.
Leans awkwardly forward on an arm, but still acting as if she knew, sort of. Cade glances to Torsten, who like poker faces it as best he can towards the back of the group. Not terribly good at the poker face, but he's trying to remove himself as much as possible because he knows that Cade will be able to read him more carefully.
Oh, clever.
Very well. You have questions and something I need, so I am willing to play along for the purposes of this.
I just thought of
as
something.
they say.
And this may not have been, I don't think this was an intentional thing that you did at the time, George, because of the way that you described it. And we're like, oh yeah, no, they do this. The holographic PowerPoint presentation that we received from Cade at the very start of the game.
That was from Torsten.
Oh, it was from Torsten. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was wondering if that looked similar to the way that the.
Oh, I didn't. That was a minor illusion spell. So that was
Fine.
more like click everything there. Whereas this is
That would have been very.
it's all there. Yeah.
Okay, so then I open out the construct. Constant, even.
Both Cade and Dahlia are enraptured by this. They're like, "Whoa, there it is," kind of feeling. Cade actually comes out from behind their desk.
We discovered what the constant does, and we also discovered that it potentially could be used as some sort of weapon against immortal beings.
It is not a weapon. It is a tool, a device for storing and monitoring information.
Insight check.
In which case,
Yeah, make an insight check.
Yeah.
They're 14 plus 8, 22.
6.
Six, you're definitely not sure. 22, you think they believe what they're saying.
Okay.
so neither of you would have any problem with me using the constant to scan you.
I would
Take a recording
have a
of you.
problem with that.
Why would that be?
Have you really not thought through the implications? You can conjure a perfect image, yes, of anything scanned by the constant.
Yes.
Say you have an adversary who has information you desire. You just merely need to scan them and then inflict upon them whatever pains or torments you desire in this form until they tell you what you want to know, and they can do nothing about it because they are.
So you knew that it did
contained.
this then?
Well, it is my theory that it did this, yes.
Yes, but you didn't tell us that that would have been a risk of us picking up the constant. So it scanned all of us without our consent. So now we are stuck in that thing. So I think it's only fair that you would be too.
I was not aware that it would scan you as a matter of course. I did not expect anyone to be using the device. But in any case, it may be possible to modify the information stored within, so this can be circumvented. Is this your only concern? But for the record, yes, I do not wish to be scanned by it.
Yeah, well, we had a little chat with a guy called Cavil Renfair. He seems to remember you from 600 years ago?
Yes, I remember Cavil. That's, yes.
How are you 1,000 years old? We don't do that.
No. I am. Go on, Ed. Are you
Sorry,
interjecting?
I want to move so that I am within 5 feet of both Nilo and Cade as unobtrusively as I can.
You can do that in space. They're not deliberately close to each other. The Cade has come forward past their desk, which makes it more plausible. You'll be like in the middle of them. There'll be 5 feet either side of you, essentially. But yeah.
I think that will be fine.
The matter of my aging does not seem pertinent to me. To this.
Well, it seems pertinent to me, so you could just answer.
No, I don't think I will.
Well, look,
Why not?
It's a personal, private matter.
It is clear that you have both withheld a lot of information from us, to the point that we have difficulty trusting your motives.
Nice.
Yes, I can see that. Dahlia also begrudgingly nods, but is more like looking at Cade warily, like more so than like they do not get on, but this is very much like something is up here based on what you're saying. Like the information you've introduced appears to be new to her, or parts of it do. Yes,
No.
I can accept that.
Nilo, do you know what Cade's not telling us? Did you know that they were 1,000?
No, that seems frankly impossible.
Hmm.
I mean, I know there are magics that will do it, but Kay just folds their arms.
How did...
fucking hell. Look, I lost a lot of fucking
What was that?
time.
What was that, Valka?
Sorry, I was going to say, how did Nilo react to the the suggestion that we were going to open up the continent and scan them.
Doesn't seem bothered by it. But when Cade described the effect, they also were like, hey, hold on a minute. Like they followed the logic, but they didn't seem to know it as a pre-existing fact. Niall, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Bart is just like, no, seriously now. You worried about personal information. Yeah, I lost a lot of personal information, okay? A lot of personal things came out for me. So if you're worried about that, I couldn't give less of a fuck. I will walk out with that thing right now if you don't start telling us exactly what it is you fucking are.
I am an academic. I have been here for, as you say, near on 900 years now. The matter of my aging is not something which I can disclose, and please understand that it is not me being obfuscatory. It is a literal that I am saying. I cannot disclose it. But I have been honest in my intentions. I wish to acquire the constant. I wish to study it and keep it safe. I do not have any malign intentions with it.
Then it looks... Go for it.
Well, no, if you're going to reply to that, then...
Rusty, well, it looks like then we don't have a choice, because we are worried that you are very old because you are someone very bad in disguise. So the two ways that we solve that are either by you telling us the truth, or we scan you to find out. The choice is yours, but they are the choices, right?
I am nothing more than what I am presenting myself to you as.
Do I have another legend lore now?
Sure. It's certainly coming up on Dawn, so I'm willing to go with it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can I do that without it being obvious, or...?
Yeah, I think the rules as written for casting spell from an object is that it uses no components.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I in my head, I legend lore Keeper Cade.
Wow.
Same again. They don't have any legendary significance, and that's hopefully telling in and of itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I activate the scan function.
Could all of you please make a wisdom saving throw?
Oh no.
Including you, yes.
Me.
Oh man.
Is it against magic, George?
It is against magic, George.
I have advantage. Magic George!
And me. Where am I looking? I'm looking at this one here. I'm sure I wrote this down. Oh, I know where it is.
Don't like that they had a stat block.
What is everybody? So, who was rolled what? Niall.
I rolled an 8.
An 8. Okay.
Sorry.
10.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't hear that.
10.
10. Rebecca.
26.
26. Ed.
Oh.
And G. Wow.
What did I... 19.
Oh, 19's good. Everyone except Veracity is frozen in place. Like some of you may have encountered this. Like the actual effect is something you'd be familiar with, but writ much larger, which is a whole person spell. Veracity, you saved out of it. You're fine. You're not affected by it. This is the timing of this is intentional 355 to inhibit you from activating the scan.
As this happens, as soon as Veracity notices, she will leap in front of 355, in between 355 and... I'm assuming it's from Cade, can I tell?
Cade hasn't moved. Well, Cade was doing as Cade was. Cade actually also appears to be frozen, as does Nilo, as is Torsten.
Oh no! It's just
I was just about to bring this up. Fuck me. Somebody broke into this place. It's not safe.
Oh, we thought they were the bad guys. Okay, there's Veracity. She is going to stand in front of the constant with fire ready.
Oh, okay.
Panicking.
All of you can still see. You can still perceive through your senses as normal. The air goes still and grows colder, and suddenly, before all of you, I mean, near-ish to Cade, like because that's the line that the room was focusing on. So just standing near where Cade is a woman. And at first, you think her skin is describes someone having porcelain skin. It looks like that, and you realize it is literally smooth and unmarked porcelain, or something much like it. She looks at all of you, particularly you, Veracity, is the one who's moving around with a steady, intense look, which makes you think of Lepidopterist sizing a butterfly up for a for a story, sort of a presentation pin. The shadows in the room go a little darker. You're still in the same place, but it's that feeling of like the environment here has changed a little bit. She stands and folds her arms.
I'm Veracity.
I had hoped it wouldn't come to this.
Come to what exactly?
Intervening so directly.
I gave you my name. The polite thing would be for you to give me yours.
I suspect you know my name.
Are you possibly Drusilda the Jam Maker?
She bristles at that.
I'm not expecting any of this.
I'm loving this so much.
I'm so glad that you were able to say it, because Valka was not.
Just for you. What's going to happen next?
Warforged, you may speak. If I release you from this binding, will you activate the device?
I have no desire to cause unnecessary harm.
A carefully worded statement.
Why do you want it?
I do not wish to take the constant this day. I wish for you to give it to Cade.
What will happen then?
Knowing Cade will study it for a week or so, place it in a secure box, more secure than before thanks to the recent incursions into their archive, and seal it away. And there it will remain for some time, until it makes its way to someone else.
Why was it sealed in the hedge maze?
Again, you've come so far, and yet you seem to have learned so little.
If the whole...
Rack and I sought to use it. Monarchs of Fairy did not take the existence of such a tool kindly to their aims and ordered it sealed.
Then why don't you want to take it now?
Each of you may speak. You're still held, but you're freed enough to move your eyes and flap your gums.
Surely we should destroy it.
I have no intention of having it destroyed, if such a thing is even possible. I don't know if you noticed, but my nature is not one inclined to senseless destruction, particularly not as such a reaches a hand out towards rather than grabbing at perfect device. Which will pass to me in time.
Veracity bristles as she reaches forward. Why, if you've moved heaven and earth, why aren't you taking it now?
I have my reasons.
What are your reasons, please?
Perhaps an exchange. I tell you plainly my reasons, and in return you promise if the majority of you find it not morally repugnant, you will do as I ask and give it to Cade.
I would agree with that.
I would agree with that.
Do you promise to tell the truth?
I am what I am. Truth is misunderstood by mortals, but it is not possible for me to speak an outright falsehood.
And I believe we all agree.
Barda?
Who's your partner in crime?
Who is my partner in crime?
No, where is he? Reck and Rowan.
We are not partners. We are opposites. We stand against one another. Do not speak my name in the same sentence as Rax again.
Weren't you holding it together?
She seemed a little bit surprised by that. We were warring over it. Each wanted it. Well, no, to be precise, I wanted it. Rack wanted me not to have it. It's a tool antithetical to Rack, don't you think? Something that preserves perfectly, never decaying or fading or winnowing.
Well, Well, it's a bit awkward for you then, and it's gone down a legend that you two are super buddy-buddy. Drisilda and Rack and Ruin, best of friends, partners in crime.
You are trying to needle at me.
Is it working?
No.
So me saying Drisilda and Rack and Ruin in the same sentence, how great they get on. We should sing songs about them, that's fine.
Veracity, this isn't the time to...
Perhaps we ought to hear Drisilda's reasoning. Go on, then.
I will remember the insult, Veracity. Thank you. You've given me precisely what I needed. Anyway, I will speak to you with your agreement. I do not wish it to pass to me because it cannot yet pass to me. The bindings of the monarchs of Fairy were absolute and clear, and by it being removed from the hedge maze, they will be undone with time. But it does take time for such a strong binding to undo, and so it should pass to Cade, someone closer to me, but still not close enough to cause any harm. And in time, it will pass from them into my hands.
And what do you intend to do with it at that point?
End Rack.
See, that's the problem, because that's sort of a bit murdery, and I find that morally repugnant.
Rack is not a mortal. Murder is an inapt term. An unmaking, an unweaving. It would not even kill Rack, it would just undo the essentialism of them.
That sounds like really pretty words for murder.
Your perspective is flawed, as on many things.
Are you the reason?
What is your influence on the non-Fey realm? And the same about Rack and Ruin. Do you have any influence here?
Influence. I have bound you, each of you, thus.
Well,
except
yes.
Not me!
troublesome one. I could still kill you with a word.
Yeah, but
I would
clearly
prefer not to.
you're flawed too, so
But
let's not be too...
conservator, so... My point is...
You're right, I would prefer not to kill you. My methods are more subtle. I prefer to...
I was speaking of...
Yes, Kamala.
My point is, if Rack and Ruin were to be undone, as you say, would that have any bearing here? Would things never again be able to be destroyed? Would things be preserved for all time because you're the one with the power?
No, our domain here is not so absolute. In Fairy, perhaps, but it would have an effect. I will not dissemble on that, but it would not unmake the... I mean, Rack is not death anyway. Rack is diminishing. But only in Fairy is it so literal a subject. Here it may have some effects in, possibly a few thousand years, but that's assuming no one has taken up the mantle by then.
Why do you wish to kill Rack?
Unmake. Because Rack opposes everything I am, and I oppose everything that Rack is. It's as simple as that. It is what we are.
Surely you are in balance then, and to upset that balance would not be good for the world.
Imagine standing in balance forever, teetering on an edge forever.
Sounds
It's
better
not
than
a
falling
comfortable
off it.
place.
And you're being really mean right now, so someone who's the opposite of that doesn't sound like someone I want to kill.
You do
Unmake.
This is my problem, is that in theory, you sound like someone I want to side with. But your whole demeanour is giving me bad vibes, I have to say.
She just sits back, or leans back.
If you know about the constant being free, what's to say that Rack doesn't know about the constant?
Rack will have been trying as hard as I have to get it.
I think we
Monarchs of
may know.
Fairy's binding was absolute, but there are always ways round. There are always things to be done. I'm surprised you haven't figured that out by
I
now.
think we possibly know who Rack sent and what's happened to them.
We are bound not to interfere so directly, so we use proxies, other selves, shards, fragments.
What would happen to you if the constant was destroyed?
if you could do such a thing. Nothing would happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I thought you had done it to slight me, I would not kill you. I would bind you. I would put you in a sphere within the Earth's crust and leave you there.
Charming.
I just feel like this is one of those situations now when my children were young and they were both playing over the same they were playing with the same rattle. They started arguing about it. The solution was to take the rattle away and no one gets it.
You sound like the monarchs.
They sound like they might have had the right idea.
She actually looks a little like pouty petulantly there, like breaking the sort of the porcelain veneer.
Does Cade have any more cookies on the table?
you still can't move. Yeah.
No.
I can.
There are cookies there, to be fair.
What would happen to you if my lovely friend here scanned you?
I said I would be honest. It would do the same to me as it would to Barak. Hence why I have not released the binding.
You should possibly do that before we negotiate any further, because I don't think any of us are going to agree to anything while you're holding everyone else immobile. It's not very kind. It's not good.
So you would rather negotiate in more comfortable environments for all of us?
I didn't necessarily say that.
Well, I am amenable. Of course, it is only right that everybody involved in such a negotiation feel safe and comfortable.
We haven't finished our first agreement yet.
Have we not? I thought I had given you my plain reasoning.
We have not voted on it yet.
Very well. Feel free to do so. If you would like to conclude it in comfort, do let
Also,
me know.
just as a sidebar, before I think it's important information I need to cast my vote. When you said that you had what you needed now, what did you mean?
In the interests of an honest dialogue, I cannot take the constant from you by force. I could, as I say, kill you in a word or imprison you or do all manner of things if I desired, but under the terms of the agreement, I cannot wrest it away from you or even coerce you in any way, but as is my nature, I can fairly repay an insult.
Oh no. Everything's fine. Folks, ignore what she just said. It's all going to be okay. I'll be fine.
I am, as a matter of courtesy, waiting until our discussions are concluded before exercising that privilege. Of course, if you play fairly and amenably to my interests, and I judge it so, then I may overlook any such slights that have been given over the course of this discussion.
I didn't insult you. I just pointed out that history's got it wrong, clearly, because we all were led to believe that Drusilda and Rack and Ruin really get on super well.
If you feel my reprisal disproportionate, I'm sure the monarchs will hear your complaint.
Look, I get that Veracity is taking liberties, but I promise you, if you do anything to her, I'll get the constant, and I will scan you.
As if you would have the time to stand there, turning it to your will. I just waited, doing nothing.
I didn't say I'd have the time. I'd make the time. I'd find you. Don't worry. But let's not get into details.
We were going to vote. We should vote. Do we think Drusilda the Jam Maker is morally repugnant?
Oh, yes, of course. You may use your words or slightly incline your left index finger. You recover the ability to slightly incline your left index finger if you so desire.
I cannot, in all good conscience, vote to leave it in a box that you will inevitably get, or Rack will.
I have no intention of letting it fall to Rack, but such was our arrangement. Your vote is noted. What of the rest of you?
I am siding with 355 and Veracity.
The other two of you may speak your piece, but I believe that decides this particular matter.
I think it does.
Oh, so?
If you would like to discuss it further, as I say, we can do so at liberty. Or if you are concluding these negotiations, I can finish my business and depart.
We do that one then, shouldn't you?
Is there any way we could get in contact with you that's not through one of your puppets?
She reaches up, brushes lightly against her face, and comes away holding a shard of porcelain. The face underneath seems intact. It doesn't matter. She places it on the desk. A token such as this, and the invocation of my name thrice, should be sufficient. And I see your thought pattern. I do not wander blithely into traps set for me. Indeed, I would take such a thing very ill.
That wasn't the intention. The intention is if you are genuine, then, well, maybe it'll work out in your favor.
Absolutely.
But you can expect a trap if anything happens to the little one.
Well then, unless any of you have any parting shots, then I will leave you for now.
Getting out of it that easily?
She turns to the door, pauses.
Did you say that as veracity?
I don't know.
I assume you didn't, but I assumed you didn't. There's no bearing on what's about to happen. Turns to the door, pauses. Ah, of course.
Oh no.
She leans down and whispers something into Veracity's ear. The words don't seem to stick just now. We're going to brush up against that shortly. Stands up, gives you a smile, and disappears. And the room, the lights come up, the chill disappears, and all of you who are held, including the three others in the room, can move again. Well, says Torsten, are we doing this or not?
We have just had an I don't know what the word is.
Veracity, are you okay?
I don't know.
Somebody just spoke to us. We've just had a not interrogation. What's the word?
Negotiation.
We had your boss drop in with us, Cade.
Yeah.
Did you not see her? She was scary.
No, I do not. I'm not. No.
Can I make an investigation check on Veracity to see if there's anything left?
Yeah, make an investigation check with mundane investigation, unless you have any particular magical tools or anything like that, or spells. We'll see what you get, but it will be less revealing than if you have certain other ways of exploring it.
I have detect magic.
That's an option.
Also, is the shard of porcelain still there?
Oh yes, that's still there. It's like it was sort of balanced on its end, but as she left, it sort of landed flat. So it now just looks almost innocuous on the desk. Like Cade certainly hasn't noticed it.
I'm going to try and pick it up with a stealth sleight of hand, possibly even before I do the investigation of.
Make whichever roll you wish to first.
Well, I've made the investigation. Okay, the sleight of hand check was a 19.
Okay. I mean the group, the party, certainly has a few people who, at least one person who can spot that, but of the NPCs, you seem to do it undetected. You palm
It's
the
noted.
Well, have I answered your questions to your satisfaction? May I take possession of the artifact, which I remind you, I will be paying you quite.
No, you can't.
handsomely
You
for.
can't take it. You can't take it because you'll take it. You'll put it in a box, and in 1,000 years she'll come and get it.
I'm just now going to do the investigation check, which was a 16 on Veracity, as much to distract as anything else.
Veracity on the surface seems like presumably shaken or whatever by that experience in and of itself, but there's nothing conspicuously off from that you can perceive at this point.
You seem to be fine. I have no idea what that means.
She
but
said
you seem to be fine.
something, and I don't remember what she said, but it was scary.
That's probably going to linger with you for some time.
I don't think she likes me very much.
Falcon kneels down and gives Veracity a hug.
I thought I was being brave, and because none of you could defend yourselves because you were all stuck, so I thought I just had to be as irritating as possible so that I could run away, and but I think maybe it backfired.
It's okay. It's okay. We're all
Rassi,
here.
you were very, very brave. Thank you.
Yes, very, very brave.
Are you all okay? You're not still stuck. Is everything okay?
Yes, everything seems to be fine.
Do you think she was just playing a silly, funny joke and I'm fine and scaring me? Where's the joke?
Let's see.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
We think it's that, right?
Yeah.
I can find out. I activate the scan on the constant.
Okay. Do any of you not want to be scanned?
I don't want to
No,
be scared. I don't know why she said to me.
You can try and resist the effect if you wish, which is a wisdom saving throw, given you know what it does.
Can I direct it? Can I just scan?
You can't. It's a big emanation. Like a creature who knows what it does can intentionally resist it or try to resist it. So we'll see what happens now. Cade blinks through it as it scans. Anyone else trying to?
No. It's already happened to us.
I think Valka is uncomfortable about it, but is not stopping it.
I think if she thought it through, Veracity would resist, but I don't think she's a bit shell-shocked. I don't think she'd think
not in that place.
fast. Yeah.
I don't know if she'd survive through torture.
That's very true. Cade blinks and staggers a little bit, but comes up fire. I wish you didn't do that. Fine, I'm still here and whole. Good enough.
I have a problem.
What has happened?
Cade. In that we now trust that your motives were as they were. I can't speak for the rest, but I believe that your motives are genuine, that you want to research and look into this.
I don't, says Torsten. Sorry, no, carry on.
Okay. But there's a larger issue here now.
Have I not been good to each of you?
No,
Have I
really,
not?
no.
Well, fine. Then you can leave. Now.
Do you know who you work for?
I work for myself.
Yeah, but you don't know. Did you really not see her?
See whom?
Drusilda, she turned up and she was very scary, and she said that you are closer to her than we are. We didn't mean to be. Maybe you didn't mean to be part of her plan, but you were, and she's got this whole fun plan where you just study it for a week and then put it in a box, and she just waits and waits and waits, and when this Archfey Monarch's countdown ticks off, she just swoops in and grabs it and uses it to destroy all balance in the Feywild.
I do not know where this is coming from. I am not... No. Well, I did not see her.
Is she the reason that you've been able to preserve yourself?
Yes. I can speak more freely now. You have identified it for me. I'm not bound to speak what one does not already know. I'm not bound against speaking what one already knows.
So she prevented you from saying that, but she promised you, what, longer life if you helped get the constant for her?
I think you misapprehend just what our relationship, her and mine, is.
You never asked to have your life extended.
It is what I am. I am not Drusilda. But I am a shard.
She said shards. She said shards and fragments of themselves.
Literally.
Rack and ruin.
Yes. I am an element created by Drusilda, but not an external being, another self, a true. Truth is, mortal things get hung up on what truth is, and it doesn't work that way.
What are we going to do?
I cannot force you to do anything.
I
Nor
wasn't
would
talking to you. You have nothing more to say here.
I believe we have two options. Destroy the constant or try to return it to another plane.
I like the sound of destroying it, but I'm also a coward and a bit scared of what will happen to me if we do.
When I did the scan, did I find anything or see anything with veracity?
Oh, not like it records things. It doesn't. You can pull up an image of veracity if you wish to explore that further, but it very much doesn't. It doesn't give you like a diagnostic in that way. It's very much like it records the full.
I don't mean because of the act of destruction. I mean she was really pretty specific over if we destroyed it to spite her.
She also said something else, that maybe the monarchs would hear our case, so maybe we take a trip to the Feywild.
Feywild. Warplanes. Goody.
Okay. I want to talk to a fairy queen. This sounds wonderful. Good lord.
You could write a poem about it.
I could try.
They seem like the best people to give this thing to.
Yeah. Does anybody know what she said to me? Barda, you hit
No.
anything. Did you hear?
Not even Barda could hear it.
Oh dear. How do we get to the Feywild?
Let's do that.
Yep.
Kate? Do you know anything about the... Torsten, what do you know about the Feywild?
Well, I've studied it quite extensively, as a matter of fact, because I mean, it's as evidenced by the fact that it's a. I don't particularly want to go, but Kate, I'm not staying here. I can go and if I stay with you for longer, I can study it, can't I? I could. Yes, that sounds rather appealing. But I mean, for the record, I'm against its destruction, but I appreciate the difficulty of the situation.
We could at least get the Monarchs to restart the countdown. Drusilda's relying on it running out.
Kay just chuckles under their breath.
What?
Just listening to you. All of you just... You understand so little, and yet you have learned just enough to be dangerous.
Dangerous? Why are we dangerous?
Because we can do this. And I use Produce Flame cantrip and just punch Cade in the face with some fire.
Go ahead.
It'll do so little
roll
damage, but Veracity is fed up of being told that she is stupid and useless and doesn't understand things.
Why?
Attack with it, range spell attack, so that is a dirty 20 to hit.
Yeah, that is.
It's just 1d8 fire damage. It's to make a point rather than... but I can re-roll fire damage, which she will, because I don't want that too. That's an 8. That's better.
That is much better. You stagger them, you knock them, and they are startled by this. They have not been hit possibly ever. They go sort of flat against their desk, touching their mouth, where they're expecting blood, but it's burnt. Like there is a burn on their face from where they are. They look like they're about to yell and then collect themselves. All of you have until, an hour to leave the Athenaeum.
Okay. That's a shame.
What do you need to gather?
Out. Now.
No. Torsten, what do you need? What's yours?
Well, I do have an office in a different part, and yes, I don't want to go. I like it here.
Cade, I think we could do a deal, right? You have a lovely library full of very rare books. It'd be a real shame if I accidentally burnt them down. Torsten can stay, surely.
No.
Are you sure?
You have fallen foul of the authorities once before. I do not think you want to make it worse.
I just possibly got cursed, doomed, terrified by an archfey. You weirdly scare me less than you did an hour ago. Books or Torsten? What's your choice?
Veracity.
They're a bully, and I don't care for me, but Torsten's life is here. If he wants to stay, he should stay.
I agree.
How about we do a deal? Barda, you first.
I agree, but we can't go around threatening everyone that we want to.
I'm not threatening everyone that I want to. I'm threatening one specific person who definitely deserves it.
Look, I'm just saying, if you want to get what you want, sometimes threatening people isn't the way forward all the time.
I have been sweet and smiley and charming and apologized again and done all their dusting for years. They don't get to push Torsten around. Valkyrie, if you have a better plan, that's fine, but they don't get to push Torsten around. That's not fair.
Fine, it's fine. We'll go. Just don't burn the books, please. They are important.
Do you want any of them, Torsten?
How lightly are we traveling?
Well, hold on, everyone. Hold on. Are we all in agreement? I say all, but not looking at Cade or Nilo. Are we all in agreement?
Oh, Nilo's practically got the popcorn out at this point.
Figured.
Are we all in agreement that we are going to try to go to the Feywild to speak to the Monarchs to give them the constant to stop Drusilda and Rack and Ruin from accessing it?
Yeah.
Fine. That seems to me like the kind of thing that might take a little time to prepare and understand. Say perhaps a week. During which, under careful watch, I will volunteer, I'm sure others will also be willing, whilst Torsten prepares. Cade and Nilo may investigate the constant, and then we take it with us. If Cade was only going to research and then put it in a box and put it away, sure. Have your research, Torsten gets to stay, and then we take it with us. But Nilo must also have access.
Cade is like ooh, and I was like, yeah.
And then we will leave you alone.
I can work with those terms. Me too.
But Torsten gets to stay and do all the research that he would like to.
Well, that's jolly good, isn't it? Fine.
He's the best.
Fine, you can do it. We can do it. Yes. I accede to your demands. Your deal.
Everyone else okay with this suggestion?
Although maybe if a portal away to the Feywild comes up sooner, we should maybe just take it.
I have no idea how often they spring up, but
Not as hard, don't worry.
Okay.
Veracity, now that the Constant has scanned you, perhaps we could investigate its readings and see if we can work out if Drusilda did it.
I got so cross I forgot. Oh no. Yeah, okay, that might be a good
If
plan.
there is anything wrong, we will find out.
You'll be fine.
Can I shout at one of you instead? It seemed to help.
Okay, shout at me if you would.
Valka kneels down and puts her hands up for Veracity to punch. Oh god, you can do it harder than that. Go on.
This continues.
Would you please restore my office to me? This just.
Oh, you would like us to leave
ready.
now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
As we're leaving, I'd just like to go to Nilo and
She'll come with.
Yeah. But
You can catch
I'd
her.
like,
Yeah.
as we're all
Yeah.
leaving, I will say to her, do you have any idea where 119 went when he left?
He ran off. I don't know. He was understandably agitated, but I imagine he. I don't know.
He made it back though.
Yes.
Oh, good.
He was here, but he sounded really stressed when we were messaging. He sounded in trouble.
Maybe it was
Yes.
just a turn.
He was not in trouble. But he could not stay right now.
He will be
Okay.
if he gets back. Yes, if you find him, try and find him. Make sure he's all right.
I will.
I'll be clearing up the workshop.
Hey,
And
Barda.
Thank you, Valka. That was well played.
That's really clever.
Have you guys left?
I think
Yes.
This is
Yeah,
on the
we're
way out. I
leaving.
think.
Because Barda's gonna try and stay in just for a bit to have a little word with Cade.
Ooh.
Okay.
What
I'm not
is
gonna
it
judge
that
you.
want?
I'm sorry to hear about your situation. Not being, being part of that can't be easy. But it's a life. I understand that. And I'm understanding that my deal with you was not fulfilled, so I understand that no payment will be made.
Correct.
I'm really sorry that you are the way you are. That sucks.
I am a whole person like any other. I'm not... Whatever.
You're not free, though.
I am. I am a true person. I'm free to make my own choices.
But you couldn't tell us, so you're not that free.
I'm sure you have similar situations, whether they are as literal or not. There are things you feel bound to or bound to not. That is a true person thing. It is more literal in the case of the Fae, but it is as true as any other.
Yeah, all right, well, at least I get to choose. Anyway, take it easy.
Yes, take it easy. They go back to sulking. Cool. All right. What 355? You're heading to trying to find 119.
I mean, I'm assuming.
You don't have to. You can do.
No, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
My reading of it was 119 is like left, totally.
Fine. Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
You don't know where they've gone.
oh, yeah.
Where does everybody want to go as we come towards Ish?
I like the idea of trying to go to the Feywild and giving it to the Archfays.
I mean, yes, long term.
Long
Yeah.
term, but possibly
Let's
not
go
right
In the
now.
immediate after. Yeah.
I've got a spare portal in my back.
We've got 20 minutes. We can do that, right? No.
Yeah.
Yes. In the immediate aftermath, where do you head? I know you have various places you may or may not want to go. What is having sort of decided to hold on to this thing of nebulous but also quite interesting power?
I think I would follow through with the veracity of seeing if we can work out what's going on.
Sure.
I want to take Veracity by the hand and lead her to Nolka's meadow to sit down with her and go, everything's going to be fine, we're just going to wait here.
Weak.
That was
Yeah,
going to be
no.
my suggestion as well, is that we, yes, investigate, but let's go to Nalka's field to do it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a good, interesting choice. You head there. You notice it's not for those who don't recall.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Because there's a little nature bit off the edge of the campus. It's a very nice river, unobstructed by buildings. There is a nice little sort of dipping pool, sort of like a thing at the foot of a waterfall, and a sort of bathing pool. And Nolka,
Was Drusilda wrong?
Good. Yeah, nah. But you come there. I think you're all heading there. But Barda, are you going along? Or you
Yeah.
everyone but Barda, who will come back to.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's got anything to say before, because she was just in the room, so I don't know if she's. I know Rebecca was about to ask me something.
Oh, I was going to ask you about portals and things, but really, we'd mention that for future.
I think if we were all kind of deciding to go to Nalka's field, Valka would hang about to see if Barda wanted to come too.
Yeah, I think.
Valka knows where it is, so the others could have gone on ahead.
Yeah, when Barda comes out of the office, she's gonna sort of look at you and be like, I should probably go home.
You can delay it by half a day if you like. It's still early. If you wanted to just rest for a moment.
Kind of owe it to Titus, don't I?
Fair enough.
You were the one that said I should probably tell him, right?
Oh, yeah, well, no, absolutely. You should. But you're also allowed to give yourself a breather first. I imagine, yes, that was difficult in that room, but I imagine the conversation you're about to have may well be more difficult, so.
Yeah, I mean, facing down a weird god faith thing, easy, you know?
Piece of cake.
Piece of
Piece
cake.
of dog biscuit.
Exactly. Macaroni.
Alka makes
Just-
a very good cup of tea. And I'm sure the others would like to say goodbye first.
All right, I'll come say goodbye.
Cool. So you're all heading over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nulka is at a customary sort of makeshift picnic spot when she has guests having tea with 119, who appears to be 119, who appears to be relaxing. And they're just chilling out, and she's doing her Nulka thing, which is talking very slowly, but quite and a bit about mostly about nothings, but very nicely and looking after him. Oh, you're all back. I thought after 119 here came, you'd be back. It's so nice to see you. Would you like tea? I made extra.
That's
Thank you very much.
kind of you. Well, 119 is everything. Is everything all right?
Well, no, not. No, yeah. It's better. I kind of was a sharp shock. Coming back in the workshop, and I got a bit worked up. Some words were said, shelves were ripped off walls, things were thrown, but and it felt good. To be clear, that was right. I just wanted to yell so many things, and they all got but I ran, and I ended up here, and Nulka's here, and she's lovely, and it's just
Good.
it's good to be to see some different trees.
Yes.
355 goes over and just takes 119's hand and just says, I'm glad that you are home safe, and I've seen Nilo. She understands.
I'm still glad I smashed the workshop. That was
I expect.
I felt like cathartic, good. But yeah, I think there's probably an actual conversation due there, isn't there? Still,
It's one we can have together.
yeah, just punches you gently in the chest. Family, I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an adjustment for lots of reasons, but thank you for getting me out of there. Jeez, God, getting stuck there, that was. Don't recommend it. I mean, you didn't do it, so it's fine. But if you ever find yourself back in the hedge maze too, just don't.
I will avoid that at all costs.
Grand. You sitting down?
Perhaps you could
Go on.
help me. I take out the constant and get scan of veracity out, and I'd so get 119 and Doc to all investigate.
Nice.
As before, the moment you scanned was that's the moment that starts. Like the veracity simulacrum is like in that moment of like, yeep. What are you trying? So you're trying to look for what? Anything?
Like
shifty?
spell effects, anything that's different to veracity now. Has it developed since the scan point?
Yeah, go on that.
Obviously, real veracity does not necessarily remember or has perceived what Drusilda has whispered, but would Scan, who is a perfect copy, who would have physically heard the sound particles hit her eardrums, recall what was said.
She is he's a copy of veracity. Like she is the same problem applies. She seems to be literally like this, the same veracity snapshot of that moment and yoinked out. G, can you make a Arcana check with advantage? You can use if Doc is better than yours, you can use.
I don't think it is.
He's got, I think, a +3 to intelligence, maybe +4.
So with advantage and a +5.
You are
12.
proficient in Arcana because of the constant.
I was already proficient in Arcana.
Oh, fine. Oh, yeah, that's okay, sure. Yeah. What was the total? 12.
So yeah, with advantage that's 12.
With the help of the detect magic and looking at the real and the other veracity, you can definitely detect there is something going on here. There's some kind of latent enchantment, but you have no idea what it could be.
Oh man.
I would like to cast a spell magic on myself and then try again and see if it's gone.
All right. Make a charisma, just a straight charisma roll, ability check.
I am slightly charismatic. That's 8.
You're not sure if anything's changed. You don't know. You can't feel anything wrong in the first place, so you don't have a good feedback mechanism.
Doc, can you still detect magical energy in her?
Sorry to say it, but yeah.
I don't think it would have been that easy to remove if it was done by a god person.
All the more reason for us to go visit the Fey Monarchs.
Exactly.
I'm sure they will know.
Barda, you put away the package in your bag, your pocket?
Yeah. Sorry, I did a lot of head nodding then.
Yeah. There's a gentle sort of pulse from it. Subtle, like a vibration. No one else seems to notice anything.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move away and just take it out and have a look.
Okay, you retreat to it's a nice grove. Like there's enough space that you can go. You could plausibly go for a wander along the riverbank.
Probably whilst this investigation was going on.
Sure. The packet is still there. You've got three crow feathers and this eye gem. The gem pulses again faintly while the package is resting in your hand. I'm assuming you haven't touched any of it yet.
You're receiving a text, and she left her eye gem in vibrate mode.
You've got a pager basically.
Yeah, gonna take a cheeky sneak look at the group and then turn around and pick up the gem.
As soon as you touch it, one of the crow feathers ignites in a brief, like a flash paper kind of thing, and just burns away rapidly. And the gem, it looks just the same at first, but as you catch sight of a reflection just over your shoulder, and in the gem is reflected, as if he was standing behind you, Darvax, one-eyed. Oh, well played, Barda. Well played.
Cheers.
I'm sorry if I scared you. I was angry. I don't get angry often, and from the tone of the message your friend sent, you must have been shitting yourself.
Well, I'll be honest, I was pretty ready to kill you.
I wouldn't have bothered. See, well, you remember Quell, the halfling?
Yeah.
Turns out they sold us out. So without that component to our little ambush, I mean, things didn't go so well. But I mean, by the way, good job on getting the constant. I realized not that long afterwards that it was a ruse, but that was going south anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, Quell took our way out. I was able to get Lorena back. Hence, I guess, why you're receiving this, because she is rather more reliable an employee than Quell turned out to be. But I guess I'm staying here for a while.
Well, you don't age, so...
Yeah, all things considered. Could be worse. I'm not worried. It'll give people some time to cool off. I'm sure things will level out eventually.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But that's how the game is played.
You played a good one. The using us to fight the Watcher was clever. I actually
that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Catching you when you were down. You still pulled it off. God.
You know what? I saw the moment when you try to make the grand entrance and I got fucked, and that really cracked me up too.
Props to the team, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Who are you working for? Vex, come on.
Oh, come on. You've got to have figured that out by now. If you're still talking and breathing, then you've obviously somehow pulled it off again, against all odds, but do you really want to hear me say it?
Yeah.
I guess here is the place I can say it, if anywhere they can't come here. Rack and ruin. But I guess not anymore. I'm thinking of branching out.
Yeah? Good.
In time.
Definitely get a new employer. That one's fucked.
Yeah, well, I think we're almost out of time. You'll know. Well, if Lorena did her job, which I assume she did, there will be 2 more of these. So we get 2 calls in the next few hundred years. No pressure.
Do you want me to come for you?
I was under the impression that was impossible. That was sort of the point. But if you have any bright ideas.
It's me. I always have a bright idea.
Huh. Don't rush. But hey, if you get bored, I'll be here.
Love you, Vax.
Hey, there's the thing. You too. Yeah, you know I wouldn't have done anything to them, right? Not with you.
No, I know. But a lot of things going on, Didn't expect to see you, so.
Huh. Well, catch you on the flip side.
I'll see you soon.
And the gem glasses over again and reflects the true world around you.
Yeah, she puts it back in the back and puts it back in the backpack.
How long did that conversation go on for?
A few minutes, probably. Depends how far Barda walked. Potentially a bit longer with the latency of walking away. Cool. We're almost at the end. Any parting words any of you want to say? Any conversation? You've got time if you want to play out a conversation or so with each other?
Well, Barda's going to go back and say bye to everyone.
Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah.
You're going home?
So she's going to brisk jog over, check up on everyone.
You're going home?
Yeah, I got to go home back to Titus.
Hey, you told me to grow up. I just worked out what irony means. Do you want to hear it?
Go on.
I did all of this to go home. I can't go home. I have no idea what this will do. I can't go home.
Veracity, you've thought the magic words. As you think this, as you picture home, you get that memory of what she said to you.
Oh.
Let me find. So I get this right. What she whispered and bent down to, you must roam this world, always moving away, never linger in one place.
That's awful.
It may be breakable. It may be something like there's always it's fairy magic. There's always a way. But as you think of going home, you feel that like stomach lurch, like that's a minute. Like just the thought of it is enough to make you feel nauseous.
I know what she did. 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 I know what she did.
What did you do? What did you do?
I can't go home.
What at all?
Ever.
Not just for a bit?
No.
What would happen?
I don't know. Bad things. It's not like I could, but bad things would happen. I physically can't. I can't. She said I have to keep going. I can't go home.
Say it again. What exactly did she say?
It was in magic, pretty poetry words, but she said I have to keep walking and wandering and I can't go home.
Okay.
I don't know much about the things, but it sounded like a curse.
Okay. You are stationary right now.
Uh-huh.
So that doesn't mean that you can never stop moving.
No, but I can't go home. I did all of this to see my mum again, and I can't go home.
Well, it doesn't mean that you can't see your mother. Surely. Let's try and see if it means that you just can't stay anywhere for a long time.
I can't. As soon as I start to even think about planning to go home, I can't do it.
Veracity. Look at me, okay? This is not forever. All of us now are gonna be helping you. Okay?
But
If you can't truly go home, you know, we're home. We'll move with you.
You're not. You've got Titus and Max, and you've got Ilvi, and you've got Nilo, and you've got people.
Yeah, and it's about time that Max starts to learn how to wield the sword, and Titus is getting bored. So, yeah.
We all have people, and you are one of those people.
I am here because my family are doing their own thing now.
I know, but
What I'm doing is
again.
being with you lot, so...
Okay.
So it's not forever. We'll get you home.
How does it make you feel when you think about staying here for a night?
Tolerable. It's that restless kind of feeling where it's like, it's going to make you increasingly uncomfortable, but it's not like instantaneous can't stand still, can't sit still.
So it's not even just my one specific childhood home, it's anywhere. I can't stay for long.
Okay.
Like, I feel bad and sicker the longer
Then I will bring your family to you.
Okay.
You're going to need to tell me where they are, though.
They're in directions. The fancy chandlers by the docks.
Valka will say goodbye to Barda. I suppose I'll see you in a week or so.
Well, how about when you're ready, you guys come to Greenest? Or, well, I'm assuming Veracity will have to move by then.
That's a good idea. Good to have somewhere to travel to.
Exactly.
Good luck.
I think I did a stupid thing.
I mean, you've done many, but...
Cool. Valka heads off, and you can fetch a family, and they will be confused. But they like, you know, you've got the northern mum thing going on. You can convince them and get them along, and Veracity, you can see them where you are. And it is maybe, for now, enough. And unless anyone has any last things they want to say. Yes, Ed.
Just a one tiny thing. When Valka's gone off, the Oracle wants to get her next to Veracity. Do you remember, it seems like an age ago now, but you made me a small blue mechanical butterfly.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is, but that's almost perfect, because when you made it for me, it gave me great joy, and if you were to make me another one, it would still give me great joy. And I feel like it's a very good metaphor for what I'm doing, because I don't have a home. I can't go back home now. But if every time I see you, I can get a little mechanical blue butterfly, that'll be kind of my home. And I'd really like that.
I'll trade you blue butterfly for a song.
Yes, whatever you like. And floats up. I'm not going to sing. I think that's not the way to end this.
Viorica has a wonderful song. What sort of song does Viorica sing at this point? Does he choose?
He goes for not the actual thing, which is the service, but just a celebration of a new dawn for Life Under. That would be lovely.
Wonderful. And as the metaphorical camera pans out on this decidedly mixed emotions scene, I want to leave you with a parting image of somewhat distant, on a demiplane, drifting off into the far dark reaches of the cosmos, stripped of its guardian, its rules ripe to be rewritten. A skeleton sits on a hill looking out into the distance. He plucks a feather from his beard, twirls it between his fingers, and smiles. And we're done. This has been the last episode, the 12th episode of Seekers of Elturel. Barry, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, players. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But you were magnificent. It's been a really, it's been great. Thank you. Great things to say before we're done. Lots more thank yous just to everybody. Thank you for being along with us for this journey. Thank you for playing. Thank you for thank you. We, the company collectively, will be back next week with something. We'll be back with a new show next week. So check out the start of a new campaign, 6 to 9 p.m. UK time. That's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific. Please do check that out and keep an eye on our Twitter for fun show announcements and stuff like that. Tuesdays, we do shows on Tuesdays, 7 to 10 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific. I believe it is another episode of Windfall and Waterdeep tomorrow, so please do come and check that out. We're on Twitch. You found us here already, twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg. Please follow us. You can find all of our shows as podcasts and on YouTube for the catch-up. So if you've missed any part of this and want to feel the deeper emotional resonance, go back and watch all of it and then come back and rewatch this. Thank you, of course, to our wonderful sponsors, Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, and Elderwood Academy, and to our magnificent supporters, D&D Beyond, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, Warriors of Waterdeep, and Level Up Dice. And just once again, thank you so much to players. So good. Yes, bravo. And to you all for watching. Yeah, cool. We'll see you again soon, I hope.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George. I mean,
You're
fuck
amazing.
you, George.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Cool. We'll see you again soon. We've been all together. Bye-bye.